Chapter 1084. I didn't expect this brat to be so despicable. He also took the chance to extort the precious resources I obtained from the God Corpse. I'll go with Brother Feather Spirit to capture this brat. Sacred King Greenlight's expression shook, and he was even happier than Sacred King Feather Spirit. Senior Feather Spirit. How could Zhao Feng be the killer of the 13th prince? Sacred Lord Gong Huang was surprised. Back then, the Lan Province War Hall and Imperials had come to the 9th Prince's stronghold to investigate and confirm that it was impossible for Zhao Feng to kill the 13th Prince. However, Sacred King Feather Spirit was now saying that Zhao Feng was the killer of the 13th Prince. He couldn't understand this at all. Furthermore, Sacred King Greenlight's current actions made him feel disgusted. Zhao Feng and company had helped them, and Sacred King Greenlight had handed over his resources, but now he was planning to take them back. However, both of them were Mystic Light Realm Sacred Kings and had a lot of power in the Grand Imperial Hall. They weren't people that Sacred Lord Gong Huang could offend. You're questioning the results of my investigation? Sacred King Feather Spirit's eyebrows furrowed as he stared at Sacred Lord Gong Huang. The laws of heaven and earth instantly locked on his Sacred Lord Gong Huang. Sacred Lord Gong Huang's bloodline and sacred power were suppressed to the limit. It was as if he was a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. This was the difference between an early-stage Mystic Light realm and a Sacred King. Sacred Lord Gong Huang was extremely insignificant in front of Sacred King Feather Spirit. Furthermore, Sacred King Feather Spirit was an extremely powerful and ancient existence amongst the Sacred Kings. I'll go with the 3 seniors. The other early-stage Sacred Lord and Sacred King Greenlight's group immediately said. From his point of view, there was no way that Zhao Feng would be able to escape from the 3 Sacred Lords. He also wanted to continue exploring the God Corpse, so following the 3 Sacred Kings was undoubtedly safer. Brother Feather Spirit, let's go. They just went this way. Sacred King Greenlight ate some healing medicine and said, "Let's go." Sacred King Feather Spirit's group then teamed up with Sacred King Greenlight's group, and the 7 Mystic Light Realm experts chased after Zhao Feng. AI, Zhao Feng, there's nothing I can do. Sacred Lord Gong Huang sighed. Now that he had left the group and was alone, he naturally didn't dare to stay in the God Corpse any longer. Furthermore, he had gained a lot from this trip, so Sacred Lord Gong Huang decided to leave this place. Xiao. Sacred Lord Gong Huang used his memories to return the way he came, somewhere else in the God Corpse. Zhao Feng and the others walked through the complicated crystal walls. We should have arrived at the center of the immortal corpse, Zhao Feng said slowly. Along the way, they could see precious herbs everywhere. The crystalline walls grew brighter, flickering with a white crystalline luster. Brother Feng, behind, Zhao Yufei seemed to sense something. Hearing this, a faint golden ripple appeared on Zhao Feng's left eye as he scanned the area behind him. Not good, let's go, Zhao Feng said immediately. What's the situation? Nan Gongsheng was puzzled. Sacred King Greenlight and the other 2 Sacred Kings from the Grand Imperial Hall are here, Zhao Feng said in a simple tone. He was certain that the 7 Mystic Light Realm experts behind him were here to deal with him, because Sacred King Feather Spirit was one of them. If it was just Sacred King Feather Spirit alone, Zhao Feng wouldn't be scared. However, there were a total of 7 people in the group chasing after him, and 3 of them were Sacred Kings. With Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng's strength, they could only stall 1 Sacred King each. Since there were so many of them, Zhao Feng could only run. Nan Gongsheng knew that something was wrong when he heard this. He also trusted Zhao Feng's judgment. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The trio immediately used secret techniques to escape and quickly pass through the crystal walls. They didn't bother with the small fortune they encountered along the way. Not far away, I can feel the disturbance of their sacred power. It's over here. The eyes of the blue-haired Sacred King Shihai flashed as he charged out. The 3 Sacred Kings circulated their intent and covered the entire group, causing everyone's speed to be the same and reach a shocking speed. Brother Feng, they're getting closer and closer. Zhao Yufei had an anxious expression as she sensed the movement of the heaven-earth yuan qi behind them. In Zhao Feng's group, Zhao Feng was the fastest. If he used the lightning wings spatial flash, he could even surpass normal sacred kings. Nan Gongsheng was next, and Zhao Yufei was last. However, Zhao Feng couldn't just leave Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei behind. Furthermore, Zhao Feng could also let Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei enter the misty spatial world. He would have a higher chance of escaping by himself. However, the misty spatial world contained many of Zhao Feng's secrets, so Zhao Feng didn't feel safe letting Nan Gongsheng enter. After all, Nan Gongsheng's mind and rationality had been greatly twisted. Brother Feng, should we use the misty spatial world to leave? Zhao Yufei said with slight guilt. No. Zhao Feng immediately rejected it. Zhao Feng had only left spatial coordinates at the place where they had entered. If they used the misty spatial world to leave, they would return to the starting point. The three of them had spent a lot of time before arriving at the center of the God Corpse. Where are you going? Sacred King Feather Spirit's voice sounded from behind. A powerful, magnificent power swept toward Zhao Feng and company like a tsunami. Zhao Feng and company already knew each other, and they immediately released their little world projections. 3 extremely powerful little world projections appeared behind Zhao Feng and company and blocked the magnificent power of the 3 sacred kings. This brat has another little world? Sacred King Greenlight was stunned as he looked at the little world projection of wind lightning that Zhao Feng released. He remembered that in the battle just now, Zhao Feng had used another little world projection of the Tao of Illusions. Furthermore, the power of Zhao Feng's little world of wind lightning was also very strong. So what if your little world is strong? If your intent isn't strong enough, you won't be able to unleash the full power of your little world. Sacred King Feather Spirit laughed mockingly. Immediately, the 3 saint rulers released the projection of their miniature worlds at the same time. The 3 sacred kings were very strong, and they instantly merged the power of their little world projections together to form a condensed spatial power that crushed everything in its path. Boom! The invisible collision of the little worlds caused heaven and earth to twist. Although Zhao Feng and company's little worlds were strong, it was just as Sacred King Feather Spirit had said. Their intents weren't strong enough, so they couldn't compare to the 3 sacred kings in terms of usage of their little worlds. However, Zhao Feng and company used this force to increase their speed. At the same time, a jade green dot of light appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. It was the cloud silkworm, Saint Butterfly. A strong surge of sacred power started to gather within the cloud silkworm, Saint Butterfly's body. The cloud silkworm, Saint Butterfly released dream pollen and cloud silkworm, Saint Silk at the same time. The path behind Zhao Feng was instantly filled with multicolored light and pollen. After doing this, Zhao Feng put away the cloud silkworm, Saint Butterfly, and told Sacred Lord Myriad Forms, who was hiding in the misty spatial world, to come out. Myriad Forms' world of wind lightning. Sacred Lord Myriad Forms' eyes focused as he changed the elements of nature, heaven and earth, and intent. Limitless intent of wind, lightning instantly filled the surroundings. The element of wind lightning was extremely pure, and it was extremely easy to control. Zhao Feng controlled the projection of his little world of wind lightning and merged a large amount of intent of wind lightning into his body. Wang, the scarlet wings of lightning behind Zhao Feng's back suddenly flashed with a blinding light as limitless intent of wind lightning surrounded Zhao Feng. Let's go. Zhao Feng circulated the power of wind lightning and swept up Zhao Yufei, Nan Gongsheng, and Sacred Lord Myriad Forms before disappearing into the tunnel. What a great support! Zhao Feng couldn't help but praise. The eyes of Myriad Forms were just too useful. At this moment, Zhao Feng's entire group was using Zhao Feng's speed to escape. However, if Zhao Feng didn't use the lightning wings spatial flash, his speed wouldn't be faster than a Sacred King's. However, Zhao Feng's lightning wing spatial flash was a single-target spatial technique, and it didn't seem like he could use it with other people. Furthermore, the terrain here was extremely complicated, and there was the interference of the aura of gods. Not only was a spatial technique like the lightning wing spatial flash restricted, but it was also impossible to use. Boom! The group of 3 sacred kings broke through the layer of clouds, silkworm, saint silk, and dream pollen. That's sacred Lord myriad forms. A sacred king in the group exclaimed. Zhao Feng, you're working with non-humans. Sacred King Feather Spirit roared in anger. Everyone from the Grand Imperial Hall saw sacred Lord myriad forms come out to help Zhao Feng chase after him. Sacred King Green Light had an ugly expression. If they were left behind by Zhao Feng just like that, what face would the 3 sacred kings have left? Furthermore, even if the eyes of myriad forms helped Zhao Feng and company, they wouldn't be able to escape. Whoosh! The 3 great holy kings circulated their mighty power and swept up the entire team as they gave chase. Interfere, Zhao Feng said to sacred Lord myriad forms. Understood, Master. The rainbow-colored light in sacred Lord myriad forms' eyes started to spin. In a flash, the wind-lightning energy behind Zhao Feng's group transformed into earth elemental energy. Boom! Boom! The speed of the group of 3 sacred kings slowed down. Among the 3 sacred kings, some specialized in the laws of wind, some specialized in the laws of water, but none specialized in the laws of earth. However, Sacred Lord Myriad Form's cultivation was too low. The 3 sacred kings burned a wisp of mystic light, sacred power, and ignored this resistance. Master, my cultivation is too low. I can't stop them. Sacred Lord Myriad Forms said to Zhao Feng. Why are these fellows chasing after us? Nan Gongsheng had an ugly expression as killing intent filled his face. He really wanted to charge out and kill them all. However, he knew that he wasn't a match for the people behind him. Zhao Feng let out a dry cough. Sacred King Feather Spirit and the blue-haired Sacred King seemed to only be chasing after Zhao Feng. This meant that Zhao Feng had dragged down Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng. Sacred King Feather Spirit, are you sure you want to keep chasing after us? Zhao Feng asked in a loud voice. Wasting time in the god corpse to chase after the other party was undoubtedly a foolish choice. You dare to assassinate a prince and insult me? You have nowhere to run. Sacred King Feather Spirit hesitated for a moment before saying. The 3 of them had chased after them for so long. If they gave up just like that, they would become a joke. Then don't blame me. Zhao Feng's tone turned cold as killing intent radiated from him. Shua! A silver bow and a dark golden arrow appeared in Zhao Feng's hands. Wang, Zhao Feng knocked the substandard god, slaying arrow onto the sky-locking bow, and pulled the bowstring. A terrifying dark golden divine radiance radiated from it, and the shadow of a divine arrow that was hundreds of meters long gradually spread out. A soul-piercing power instantly charged toward the 7 mystic light realm experts behind them. God-slaying arrow? Sacred King Feather Spirit was shocked when he saw the arrow that Zhao Feng took out. The 3 Saint Kings immediately stopped, their hearts palpitating with fear. The other sacred lords had weaker resistance, and they felt as if their souls had been pierced through, causing piercing pain. When they heard Sacred King Feather Spirit say the words God-slaying arrow, their legs went soft and their faces went pale white with fear. Chapter 1085. No, that's not a God-slaying arrow. Sacred King Feather Spirit shook his head and said after feeling the power of the arrow. They had all seen the true God-slaying arrow when Demigod Dragon Emperor fought against the Black Serpent Dragon. Its power was enough to destroy heaven and earth, and no one below the demigod realm would be able to survive it. At this moment, the arrow that Zhao Feng took out didn't pose much of a threat to Sacred King Feather Spirit. Damn, brat, you're trying to scare us. Sacred King Green Light cursed. The mystic light realm, sacred lords behind the 3 sacred kings let out a breath when they heard this. Where did this brat get a replica god-slaying arrow? Sacred King Shihai asked. From the looks of it, the replica god-slaying arrow in Zhao Feng's hand wasn't weak. Which blacksmith in the Great Gon Lore dynasty could forge a weapon of such quality? Right at this moment, Zhao Feng released the bowstring. Whoosh! A giant dark golden arrow pierced through everything, dragging a terrifying dark golden energy storm behind it as it flew out. Defend! Sacred King Feather Spirit's expression became solemn as he said with certainty. The other two Sacred Kings immediately circulated their true yuan and released the projection of their little worlds. The space within the crystal passageway was very small, and the Mystic Light Realm experts had nowhere to hide unless they retreated. However, the crystal walls could block divine senses, and the passageway was very complicated. If they retreated, Zhao Feng might use this chance to escape, and it would be even more difficult for them to find Zhao Feng. Most importantly, the distance between Zhao Feng and them was extremely short, and this increased the power of the god-slaying arrow. However, the three Sacred Kings believed that it wouldn't be a problem for them to block the power of the god-slaying arrow if they put all their strength into defending. 1. The three Saint Kings merged the power of the projection of their small worlds and formed a dark blue defensive space. The three Sacred Kings all used defensive secret techniques within the dimension and created layers of defense. Boom! A giant dark golden arrow pierced through everyone, and a terrifying storm of metal and lightning exploded. Cracks started to appear on the crystal walls. Not good. This god-slaying arrow mainly focuses on the soul. At this moment, Sacred King Feather Spirit realized that something was wrong. Although divine power attacks could penetrate the material and soul planes, if the attack focused on the soul plane, the effect of the attack would definitely be different. What a terrifying power of lightning tribulation. How can this kid possess the power of lightning tribulation? Sacred King Greenlight was already severely injured. Among the three of them, he was the first to succumb. Although the three Sacred Kings were able to block most of the power of the imitation god-slaying arrow, soul attacks had the ability to penetrate. The Sacred Lords in the back were also affected, and their souls were hit by a sharp metal elemental attack and the power of God Tribulation lightning. After the aftermath of the explosion dissipated, the three Saint Kings looked embarrassed. Sacred King Greenlight had the heaviest injuries. He was already severely injured, and now he was even more injured. He was extremely weak. The one with the lightest injuries was Saint King Shihai. He was more proficient in the soul domain and had greater resistance, but he could not withstand the power of the thunder calamity and the explosion of the metallic energy. Damn it, I've been tricked by that kid. Sacred King Feather Spirit cursed. At the start, they were scared when Zhao Feng took out the imitation god-slaying arrow, so they weren't able to determine the offensive element of the god-slaying arrow immediately. However, the power of this imitation god-slaying arrow had also exceeded their expectations. The three Sacred Kings knew that they couldn't catch up to Zhao Feng, so they sat down and started to recover from their injuries. Let's not chase after that brat for now. There are many fortunes in the God Corpse, so we can't waste all our time on him. Sacred King Feather Spirit suggested. After all, he was the one who wanted to kill Zhao Feng at the start. Everyone else nodded their heads in agreement. However, if I meet him again, I will tear him into 10,000 pieces. Sacred King Feather Spirit had a grim expression as he gritted his teeth and said. Elsewhere in the God Corpse, when Zhao Feng shot out the imitation god-slaying arrow, he retreated with Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei. On top of that, he ordered the eyes of myriad forms to change the element of the Yuan Qi in the air and erase the aura of intent left behind by Zhao Feng and company. Zhao Feng knew that it was impossible for the imitation god-slaying arrow to stop three Sacred King experts, but it was even more impossible for Zhao Feng to take out the real god-slaying arrow that could save his life. One had to know that Zhao Feng had enemies at the demigod realm. Therefore, Zhao Feng had poured all of his God Tribulation lightning symbols into the imitation god-slaying arrow just now. On top of that, Zhao Feng was able to control the imitation god, slaying arrow, even better, and he was able to use more of its power than normal. Let's rest for a while, Zhao Feng said after completely escaping from the pursuit of the three sacred kings. Zhao Feng needed to recover his god tribulation lightning symbols as soon as possible, or else his soul attacks would lose their advantage, and the strength of the group would decrease dramatically. Sure, Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei immediately agreed. After all, Zhao Feng had saved them this time. Furthermore, if Zhao Feng wasn't at his peak state, they wouldn't be able to deal with the dangers within the God Corps. Zhao Feng took out some soul-specific resources from the misty spatial world. Some of them were given to him by Sacred King Greenlight. Zhao Feng took all of the soul-specific resources and left the rest for Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei. Zhao Feng picked out the resources that were the most useful to him and placed them into the dimension of his left eye to duplicate them. Zhao Feng then ate a few more resources and started to circulate the Soul Recovery Divine Technique. Zhao Feng's Soul Recovery Divine Technique had reached the max level, and Zhao Feng's Soul Defense and Recovery ability had increased dramatically. Zhao Feng's soul was a lightning soul body, so the God Tribulation lightning symbols had merged with his soul and could be considered a part of Zhao Feng's soul. Therefore, circulating the Soul Recovery Divine Technique was beneficial to the recovery of the God Tribulation lightning symbols. At this moment, Zhao Feng could feel how beneficial the Soul Recovery Divine Technique was to him. Of course, while recovering the God Tribulation lightning symbols, Zhao Feng still circulated the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique to multitask. A substandard God crystal appeared in Zhao Feng's hand along with other wind, lightning, and earth resources. Zhao Feng's 5-elemental wind lightning technique had completely consolidated its foundation. Adding on the fact that Zhao Feng had been using substandard God crystals and the blood crystal from the God Corps, Zhao Feng's Earth of Wind Lightning was about to reach the late stages. At the same time, the blood crystals from the God Corps were also very beneficial to one state of existence. While Zhao Feng was cultivating, he also observed Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei. A purple and blood-colored figure radiating a wicked aura formed in Nan Gongsheng's little world. Nan Gongsheng seems to be creating a clone. Zhao Feng saw the situation through the cover of Nan Gongsheng's little world. With Nan Gongsheng's cultivation, he could have created a clone a long time ago, but he had been busy increasing his strength and consolidating his cultivation. On the other side, Zhao Yufei was still condensing her mystic light sacred power and occasionally using some resources to comprehend the intent of heaven and earth. The advantage of the spiritual race was their source of power. Although Zhao Yufei was only at the early stages of the mystic light realm, her mystic light's sacred power was comparable to a sacred king. If her mystic light sacred power was strong enough, the defense of her spiritual race bloodline would be even stronger. One day later, Zhao Feng opened his eyes. Let's go. Although the trio had obtained a lot and needed to enter seclusion to comprehend, time was precious in the God Corps. However, time was precious in the God Corps, and they couldn't afford to cultivate here. Although Zhao Feng's God Tribulation lightning symbols hadn't fully recovered after one day, they had almost fully recovered. Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng unwillingly ended their seclusion. Meow meow. The little thieving cat stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder and threw out a few coins before waving its paws and pointing in a certain direction. Brother Feng, I also feel a strong disturbance of yuan qi in that direction. Zhao Yufei said with a smile. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The trio moved out once more and sped through the crystal passageway. They had now arrived at the center of the God Corps. Some areas and crystal walls were extremely tough and hard to destroy, so there weren't many fortuitous encounters. However, once they did find one, it would be even more tempting than the outer regions. Perhaps there was a fortune that many sacred kings and demigods dreamed of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. The disturbance of yuan qi is becoming stronger and stronger. Zhao Yufei was certain that they hadn't chosen the wrong target. After passing through countless narrow passageways, the area in front of them suddenly became wider. They seemed to arrive in another world, and they felt a weird power spread across heaven and earth. There was a faint red crystal at the center of this world. One couldn't see the end of it. Below this enormous crystal object, there were many foreign races and humans. Among them, there were even demigod-level powerhouses. This should be the organs of the god corpse. Zhao Feng extended his vision to the limit and used his see-through ability to come to a conclusion. Let's go. The trio headed toward the group of humans in the distance. Under that incomparably huge crystal were two groups of people, one human and the other non-human kind. The demigod leading the non-humans was Demigod Arcane Void of the Dark Capital Cult, and the human demigod was Demigod Withered Breath, the Grand Elder of Sky, Suspension Palace. All in all, the humans were slightly stronger. However, even then, the humans would have to pay a heavy price if they wanted to wipe out the non-humans here. Furthermore, the most important thing right now was to find the fortune within the god corpse. Another group is coming. It's a human group. Many human sacred lords below the crystal said happily when they saw Zhao Feng and company arrive. However, when they saw Zhao Feng and company clearly and sensed their strength, they shook their heads. On the other hand, Demigod Withered Breath, who looked like an old tree, glanced at Zhao Feng and company. Zhao Feng and company approached in a low-key manner. I didn't care about anything else. The closer they got, the more Zhao Feng felt a desolate and ancient soul intent seep into his soul. There's a very strong soul intent aura inside. Zhao Feng looked at the crystal in the distance with a joyful expression. Zhao Feng's group of three slowly approached and sat cross-legged beneath the massive red crystal, feeling the wondrous intent energy within. The other humans and outsiders here were all using this power to strengthen their souls and wills. What's inside? Zhao Feng inspected the giant crystal in front of him. There were many large cracks on the surface of the crystal between the two groups, and they were extending in every direction. Wisps of faint red soul aura radiated from the cracks. The closer they got to the crystal, the more they could feel the power of the intent. At a certain moment, a faint golden ripple spread across Zhao Feng's left eye. Zhao Feng's gaze passed through the crystal and reached into it. Chapter 1086. What's inside? A faint golden ripple spread across Zhao Feng's left eye, and Zhao Feng's gaze passed through the crystal wall and reached into it. At this instant, Zhao Feng seemed to see another world. There was a giant vine that was even bigger than the Great Gone Imperial Palace. The vine was crystal red, and it spiraled upward from the ground like a giant whirlpool that reached the crystal wall at the top. The vines had all sorts of colorful fruits on them. They were like a sky full of stars, filling the entire space. However, the surface of the vine and the fruits was covered in a layer of crystal. Even the colors on the surface of the fruits weren't able to penetrate through. Apart from the giant vine, there was also a giant crystalline object that seemed to contain something as well. Of course, this was just what Zhao Feng saw. Zhao Feng didn't feel any other aura or pressure. It's like a little world. Zhao Feng took in a deep breath. This vine could be said to be the largest plant Zhao Feng had ever seen. This place was like another mysterious kingdom. That faint red soul concept power should be emitted from that vine, Zhao Feng concluded. However, there was a layer of white crystal on the surface of the vine. This power should be leaking out from some of the cracks. However, just the aura leaking out had such a shocking effect that Mystic Light Realm experts were able to comprehend their own intents. It was hard to imagine what kind of effect it would have if one cultivated here. It was even hard to imagine what kind of effect the fruits on the vine had. However, there was also a layer of white gold crystal on the surface of the fruits. Even a demigod would find it hard to break through. Right at this moment, Demigod Withered Breath from Sky Suspension Palace raised his head slightly and glanced at Zhao Feng with puzzlement. Zhao Feng immediately took back the light of transparency from his left eye and stopped looking at the interior of the giant crystalline object. What is it? Senior Withered Breath? A sacred king from Sky's Suspension Palace next to demigod Withered Breath asked. Of course, he also noticed that demigod Withered Breath was looking at Zhao Feng, but he didn't understand why an early-stage mystic light realm sacred lord would attract the attention of a demigod. Zhao Feng's gaze immediately shifted elsewhere. What's that? Zhao Feng was startled. His eyes narrowed as he looked into the distance. He discovered that there was actually a similar huge crystal at the edge of the area in the distance. It seems like there are many similar huge crystals here. However, there is a crack on the surface of this huge crystal. Zhao Feng's knowledge was broadened once again. There were countless great opportunities in the God Corps. It was just that no one here had the strength to dig them out. This time, Zhao Feng decided to stay here with the two groups and wait for an opportunity. The great fortune within the God Corps was definitely several times better than the resources and treasures at the edge of the area. Even if he couldn't obtain the fruit on the vine, just being able to enter and feel the aura radiating from a vine was a rare cultivation opportunity for Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng slowly closed his eyes and entered a cultivation state. It wasn't easy for Zhao Feng to have the time to cultivate in peace, so he obviously wouldn't waste it. While comprehending this intent, Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and started to multitask. Zhao Feng immediately took out the substandard god crystals and other precious resources he had obtained from the God Corps and started to cultivate. A measly early-stage mystic light realm is using substandard god crystals to cultivate. This brat is so wasteful. Isn't he afraid of dying from eating too much? Some sacred lords couldn't help but curse when they saw Zhao Feng being so wasteful. They weren't willing to use some of the resources they had obtained from the God Corps in order to increase their chances of breaking through in the future. Some sacred lords and sacred kings even set their eyes on Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng continued to cultivate as if no one else was around. In reality, Zhao Feng still had ancient resources, bloodlines, and some other special resources, but they didn't come from the God Corps, so it wasn't suitable for him to take them out. Time slowly passed by, and the resources and substandard god crystals in Zhao Feng's hands were completely used up. The sacred power whirlpool within Zhao Feng's body became stronger, and the light became brighter. At this time, another team came from a crystal wall passage in the distance. An old sacred king of the non-humans has come. Quite a few people in Zhao Feng's area cried out in alarm. One sacred king wasn't enough to turn the tables on the non-humans, but if a few more came, the situation would be different. After all, demigods were just sacred kings that had touched the power of gods. They weren't true gods, so the difference between them and sacred kings wasn't as big as one would imagine. Zhao Feng's expression paused after scanning with his divine sense. This non-human sacred king was Sacred King Roaring Sky, who had chased after Zhao Feng and company back then. Back then, Zhao Feng, Nin Gongsheng, Zhao Yufei, and Sacred Lord Gongwang teamed up, but they weren't able to escape from this sacred king. In the end, Sacred King Yulong from the Grand Imperial Hall arrived and saved Zhao Feng and company. Of course, Sacred King Roaring Sky soon discovered Zhao Feng and company, and he revealed a disdainful and mocking expression. I didn't kill you back then, but I won't let you go if I have the chance. Many people on both sides knew that Sacred King Roaring Sky was talking about Zhao Feng and company. After all, there weren't many sacred kings that had descended on the battlefield back then, and the appearance of every sacred king attracted a lot of attention. A sacred king from a human side soon arrived. Sacred King Earth Ghost from the Earth Demon cult. I can't believe I met this brat. Sacred King Earth Ghost's eyebrows furrowed as he looked at Zhao Feng. Sacred King Earth Ghost was slightly scared of Zhao Feng because he was sure that Zhao Feng had many replicas of the god-slaying arrows or real god-slaying arrows. Otherwise, wouldn't three measly sacred lords be courting death if they dared to enter the God Corps? Senior Earth Ghost, this way please. Sacred King Earth Ghost, let us tell you about the situation here. Sacred King Earth Ghost's arrival instantly attracted the warm greetings of many sacred lords and sacred kings. Sacred King Earth Ghost avoided Zhao Feng and went to the very front to ask the upper echelon of Sky Suspension Palace about the situation. At a certain moment, an elder with white hair next to demigod Withered Breath walked out of his little world. "Senior Withered Breath, we're ready." The old man took out some wide array flags. Some were big, some were small, and the structures on them were also different. "Demigod Arcane Void, let's begin," Demigod Withered Breath suddenly said. "Okay." A middle-aged man with black wings and a pointy mouth from the non-humans suddenly stood up. Everyone present was jolted awake from their closed-door cultivation, and their blood boiled while they burned with eagerness. "We're finally going to conquer it. With 2 demigods teaming up and Master Chi's array, we'll definitely be able to conquer the fortune here." In reality, the 2 demigods had already tried it once when they first came here, but the effect was very weak. Now that more and more experts had gathered here, and with the help of Master Chi's array, everyone believed that they would definitely be able to conquer this giant crystal and explore the fortune within. "Who?" Master Chi suddenly threw all the array flags in his hand into the air. As for Master Chi himself, he quickly used his Dharma art and formed countless seals. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The array flags in the air instantly flashed with sacred power and started to move according to a certain pattern before finally forming a giant array. "Stop," Master Chi said softly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All the array flags sped through the air and suddenly stopped in the air. The array had formed. "I'll have to trouble everyone here to control the array flags at each location and do your part. Only then can we break through the great opportunity here," Master Chi said with a smile. Whoosh, whoosh. All the groups instantly started to move and stood next to the array flags. Finally, the human and non-human groups took up all the positions of the array flags. "Attack!" The 2 demigods gave the order. With the 2 demigods at the front, the array started to activate. Boom, pum, bam. The entire array flashed with terrifying power as everyone circulated their mystic light, sacred power, and unleashed their skills and secret techniques. A 5-colored shockwave instantly landed on the crack in the giant crystal. This array is very unique. Zhao Feng gripped an array flag in his hand and felt a subtle connection with everyone present. Furthermore, everyone's attacks, just now, with the demigod at the front, had merged together and increased their power to a whole new level. It was terrifying beyond Zhao Feng's imagination. However, even then, the crack on the surface of the giant crystal only spread a little. At the same time, the intent became stronger, and all the experts present couldn't help but want to comprehend it. Again, Demigod Witherbreath said. The blood of all the experts present started to boil as they circulated their mystic light, sacred power, and started another round of attacks. Boom! Bam! This time, a slightly larger crack appeared on the surface of the giant crystal, and smaller cracks started to spread. A desolate intent instantly flowed out, and even the hearts of the 2 demigods at the front of the array shook. Everyone's eyes flashed as they tried to see what was inside through the crack. One last attack. Demigod Withered Breath's tone was decisive. The humans and non-humans present were extremely excited. They believed what the demigod said. They only needed one last attack to break through this place. Boom! Pum! Pum! Everyone impatiently started the last round of attacks. They threw down the array flags and prepared to charge in. Boom! The crack on the surface of the giant crystal expanded by several times, and a small passageway appeared. Instantly, a strand of concept that was suffused with a crystalline red sheen poured out like a torrent that had broken through a dam, and a strand of terrifying and overbearing aura suddenly pressed down towards Qinshi. Watch out! Zhao Feng circulated his soul intent and released the projection of his little world of illusions, which covered Zhao Yufei and Nangongshan. Boom! Pum! Streams of terrifying intent gushed out from the tunnel and spread throughout the space like wild beasts, colliding back and forth. Some of the sacred lords that weren't on guard even lost consciousness from this terrifying intent. Some of the sacred lords with strong soul intent or defensive soul type secret treasures felt that something was wrong and immediately used their own methods to defend. Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei, who were protected by Zhao Feng's little world of illusions, felt their souls being hammered and their consciousness started to fade. Chapter 1087. Surges of terrifying intent surged through heaven and earth like ferocious beasts that charged around recklessly. Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei, who were protected by Zhao Feng's little world of illusions, still felt their souls being hammered, and their consciousness started to fade. Zhao Feng's situation was slightly better. His soul was strong, and he cultivated the soul recovery divine technique. Adding on the protection of the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng wasn't affected at all. After a long time, the impact of the intent in the entire space slowly weakened. Almost 70% of the experts present lost consciousness and fell to the ground. No one knew if they were dead or alive. The remaining sacred lords and sacred kings who had stronger soul intent or other methods weren't having a good time either. Their soul consciousness was extremely weak after this round of intent. The two demigod experts were standing at the very front, so although their soul intent was strong, they were still affected to a certain degree. Only now did the experts here understand that there was too much concept energy accumulated within the giant crystal. When a gap was suddenly broken open, all of the energy within naturally poured out, and it was caught off guard, causing the situation to develop like this. However, at this moment, everyone that was still conscious didn't care about anything else and immediately charged into the crystal. Zhao Feng immediately circulated his soul power to stimulate Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei. "Thank you, Brother Feng." Zhao Yufei immediately thanked Zhao Feng. Her soul intent could be said to be the weakest of the three. It was already very lucky that she was able to maintain her consciousness. "Let's go," Zhao Feng said after seeing that the two were doing well. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The three of them charged into the small passageway. The three of you are fine." Sacred King Roaring Sky, who was about to enter, was surprised when he saw that Zhao Feng and company were fine. Some of the sacred kings present were caught off guard and were at a disadvantage, but these three human sacred lords were still able to maintain their consciousness. "If that's the case, then all of you can die." Sacred King Roaring Sky had a fierce expression. From his point of view, even if the three Mystic Light Realm sacred lords managed to block the intent just now, they wouldn't be in a good state right now. Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei were both at the early stages of the Mystic Light Realm. "Who?" A dark green halberd suddenly appeared in Sacred King Roaring Sky's hand. It flashed with a faint blue light, as if it could control all the power of water. Tribulation, lightning, eye flame. Before Sacred King Roaring Sky could attack, Zhao Feng attacked first. At this moment, Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng were weaker, so they were obviously not Sacred King Roaring Sky's match. Therefore, Zhao Feng used his soul eye bloodline technique. Boom! A ball of God Tribulation, lightning symbols twisted and burned like fire. It contained a terrifying soul aura as it landed on Sacred King Roaring Sky's soul. Sacred King Roaring Sky, who had just taken out his heaven-grade weapon, was interrupted before he could even attack. Sacred King Roaring Sky felt as if his soul had entered a hell of lightning and fire, and it was being struck by 10,000 bolts of lightning that could destroy everything. Zhao Feng's attack only contained 30% of the power of God Tribulation lightning from his lightning soul body, but because Sacred King Roaring Sky had just experienced the intent, his soul was relatively weak. Therefore, 30% of the power of God Tribulation lightning was enough to injure Sacred King Roaring Sky. After unleashing this attack, Zhao Feng's group of three used this chance to enter the massive crystal. Damn it, that brat Zhao Feng. Sacred King Roaring Sky had to admit that he had underestimated his opponent. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's growth had exceeded his expectations. The instant Zhao Feng and company entered the giant crystal, it was as if they had entered another profound world. Different colors flashed within the dimension, and it was extremely beautiful. All kinds of profound intents floated in every inch of space, and a heavy power of laws suddenly swept over. In just an instant, the trio felt their soul intents become weaker, and they became stronger for a short period of time. However, Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei then felt that their current soul intent wasn't able to withstand the baptism of this intent for a long time. If they didn't focus 120% of their attention, their intent would slowly collapse, and they would be unable to pull themselves out of this power. This situation was the same as when Zhao Feng's soul entered the pond in the ancient dream realm. However, as this power slowly flowed out, the people within the giant crystal might be in a slightly better state. What's that? Zhao Yufei raised her head and looked at the sky. There was a bright-colored fruit that radiated a unique light on every part of the giant vine. With just a glance, anyone could tell that this was definitely a treasure. However, at this moment, there were countless fruits like this, and they were like stars in the sky. What's going on? Nan Gongsheng was just about to fly into the air when he felt laws that he couldn't understand restricting him. It was very hard for his sacred lord intent to merge into the dimension here. The laws of heaven and earth here are completely different from the dimension in the continent zone. Zhao Feng sensed it with one glance. This dimension was similar to the ancient dream realm, but the laws of heaven and earth here seemed to be more condensed. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped out of the misty spatial world, but it didn't seem to be affected at all. Its black eyes inspected its surroundings curiously. At this moment, the two demigods in the sky had already circled around the huge vine, looking for opportunities that they could obtain. The other sacred kings and late-stage sacred lords were also scattered around this dimension in search of fortune. Sacred King Roaring Sky also entered, but he didn't bother with Zhao Feng and company. Instead, he flew into the air and surveyed the surroundings of the giant vine in search of his own fortune. Those that entered first had a higher chance of obtaining treasures, so he obviously wouldn't waste any more time on Zhao Feng. At a certain moment, Demigod Withered Breath stopped in the sky and waved his palm. A mysterious crystal mark flickered and bombarded one of the red fruits. The crystal wall covering this red fruit was extremely thin, and there were even cracks on it, but the crystal wall didn't seem to be affected at all by Demigod Withered Breath's attack. Withered Breath, what did you find? At this moment, Demigod Arcane Void revealed a wicked smile as a pair of black wings spread behind his back, and he arrived next to Demigod Withered Breath. You're courting death. Demigod Withered Breath's expression became solemn, and countless streaks of crystal light swept toward Demigod Arcane Void. The two demigods are already fighting. Nan Gongsheng's heart shook. The two demigods soon got used to this dimension. The sky had become the battlefield of the demigods, and it had become a forbidden area. Zhao Feng and company split up and relied on their own abilities to find fortune and treasure. Zhao Feng first arrived next to a blue fruit, and a strong surge of intent shot out from his left eye. A faint golden ripple shot out and pierced through the fruit. The beam of light from Zhao Feng's left eye disappeared a moment later. It's too difficult to break down the crystal wall. Zhao Feng gave up on breaking down the crystal wall of the blue fruit. With Zhao Feng's disintegration abilities, it was rather far-fetched to think that he could disintegrate this crystal wall formed from divine power mixed with other substances. Meow meow. The little thieving cat stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder and started to jump up and down. You're saying that all the intent in this dimension comes from the vines, so the crystal wall on the surface of the vines definitely has cracks. Zhao Feng instantly understood what the little thieving cat was trying to say. That was indeed the case. Almost everyone's gazes landed on the colorful fruits the instant they entered this dimension. However, it was extremely difficult to obtain these fruits. Demigod Withered Breath found a fruit with cracks on the surface, but he couldn't destroy the crystal wall. The little thieving cat disappeared after giving Zhao Feng pointers. It obviously couldn't just stay in such a precious place. Zhao Feng didn't care. He spread out his intent and merged it into the dimension. The laws of this dimension were similar to the ancient dream realm, so most of Zhao Feng's intent was able to merge into this dimension. Zhao Feng soon felt that the intent in some parts of the dimension was extremely thick. Whoosh! Zhao Feng arrived at a certain part of the vines and found that there was indeed a sizable crack. Coincidentally, a leaf extended out from the crack. This leaf was transparent, and one could clearly see the dark green meridians within it. When approaching the leaf, Zhao Feng felt an extremely clear and condensed power of the elements of earth, wood, and intent. Taking a deep breath, a refreshing fragrance and energy surged through Zhao Feng's body. At this instant, Zhao Feng's exhaustion had all disappeared. Even the small injuries from forcefully breaking through had disappeared. What a magical effect! Zhao Feng's heart shook, and he was overjoyed. While no one was paying attention, Zhao Feng quickly plucked the leaf and put it away. Zhao Feng then went to the next location. This time, the crack on the crystal wall was smaller, and there were no leaves sticking out. However, if one were to comprehend the profound concept energy of the heavens and the earth at a place with cracks, then it would obviously yield twice the result with half the effort. Zhao Feng found a non-human at the late stages of the mystic light realm, sitting on a small crack on the vine and entering seclusion. However, Zhao Feng obviously wasn't going to give up just like that. From the leaf he just obtained, he could tell that anything in this dimension was extremely precious. There were definitely other treasures and resources that he could obtain here. Zhao Feng began to move once more. He searched around the vines and found a crack in the crystal wall, successfully obtaining 2 more leaves. Sacred King Earth Ghost? Right at this moment, Zhao Feng's gaze landed on Sacred King Earth Ghost in a certain corner. A faint golden ripple appeared from Zhao Feng's left eye and passed through the vines and the crystal wall. Quick, break it off. Sacred King Earth Ghost had a suspicious expression as he said in a hurry. An obscure and gloomy wind blade condensed in his hand, and he quickly cut a yellow fruit. If one looked closely, they would see that this yellow fruit had already left the vines, but it was still hanging on the vines because of a wisp of crystal. At this moment, Sacred King Earth Ghost was continuously attacking this hair-like crystal. Once the crystal was broken, the yellow fruit would naturally leave the vines. Right at this moment, Zhao Feng quickly flew over. Sacred King Earth Ghost, let me help you, Zhao Feng said with an evil smile. Chapter 1088. Sacred King Earth Ghost, let me help you. Sacred King Earth Ghost's body shook when he heard this as he continued to cut the crystal wire. It's Zhao Feng. Sacred King Earth Ghost had a complicated expression, and he didn't know what to do. He was very confused. He was a sacred king, but he wasn't able to destroy such a thin crystal thread. Now, Zhao Feng had found it. Zhao Feng, what do you want? Sacred King Earth Ghost's expression became grim as he spoke. Zhao Feng's arrival did not attract the attention of the other experts. After all, this place was extremely large, the intent energy was dense, and the intents and laws here were very foreign, making them very disruptive. Moreover, there were only around 10 experts in total. Some had already found what they thought was their fortune, while others were attracted by the battle between the 2 demigods in the sky. Of course I want the fruit in front of you. Zhao Feng spoke the truth. Don't even think about it, Sacred King Earth Ghost immediately said. Even though he was slightly wary of Zhao Feng, he was willing to do anything for this yellow fruit. Don't rush. If we attract the attention of others, this fruit will probably become the demigods. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and said. Sacred King Earth Ghost immediately stopped attacking the thin crystal thread. At this moment, the fruit might not belong to him even if he cut it apart. Unless Sacred King Earth Ghost could instantly kill Zhao Feng when he obtained the fruit, he wouldn't be able to keep the fruit if Zhao Feng spread the news. At the same time, if Zhao Feng obtained the fruit and didn't kill Sacred King Earth Ghost instantly, Sacred King Earth Ghost would spread the news, and Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to keep the fruit. Sacred King Earth Ghost believed that Zhao Feng understood this logic as well. What do you want to do? Sacred King Earth Ghost asked. We can share the fruit. Although Zhao Feng wanted the entire fruit, he knew that it wasn't possible. Even if Zhao Feng took out the god-slaying arrow and killed Sacred King Earth Ghost, the commotion would attract all the experts here. Moreover, the god-slaying arrow was Zhao Feng's greatest life-saving trump card. Once it was used, Zhao Feng would not dare to continue staying in the sacred corpse. Share. Sacred King Earth Ghost's expression was grim. He was a sacred king, and he was the one who found this fruit first, but now he had to share it with an early-stage mystic light realm sacred lord. He couldn't accept this. However, this seemed to be the only feasible solution at the moment. Otherwise, he and Zhao Feng would not have been able to obtain this fruit. Although Sacred King Earth Ghost hated Zhao Feng, he wanted this fruit even more. If the other half of the fruit could help him touch the godly position, then killing Zhao Feng would be a piece of cake. All right, Sacred King Earth Ghost finally agreed to Zhao Feng's suggestion. Being able to get half of the fruit was better than getting nothing at all. I'll cover for you, and you take the fruit. Zhao Feng told Sacred King Earth Ghost his plan. If the two of them harvested the fruit together, it would definitely attract the attention of the other experts here. It would be troublesome then. Sure, let's do that. Sacred King Earth Ghost paused for a moment before smiling. If Zhao Feng said that he would use Sacred King Earth Ghost as cover while Zhao Feng took the fruit, Sacred King Earth Ghost wouldn't be at ease. Then let's begin. More and more people are entering this place. Zhao Feng's eyes became grim as he looked at the entrance. Two more sacred lords had entered. The sacred lords that had fainted outside the giant crystal were slowly regaining consciousness. Furthermore, other groups that were passing by would enter as well. Although there were only a dozen or so people in this dimension right now, more and more would arrive very soon. If they didn't seize the fruit as soon as possible and were discovered by other experts, it would evolve into a chaotic battle. Zhao Feng pulled away from Sacred King Earth Ghost and leaned against the giant vine as he started to comprehend the intent radiating from the vine. Since he was covering for Sacred King Earth Ghost, Zhao Feng obviously had to cover up the commotion caused by Sacred King Earth Ghost cutting the fruit. Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and released countless thoughts that merged into this dimension. He felt the desolate, heavy, and dominating intent in this dimension. The intent in the air was instantly stirred up by Zhao Feng. A giant faint red whirlpool slowly spun with Zhao Feng at the center, and surges of intent entered Zhao Feng's soul. What a powerful intent! At the same time, Zhao Feng circulated the soul recovery divine technique. A non-human sacred lord closest to Zhao Feng paused for a moment before snickering coldly after seeing the commotion around Zhao Feng. This brat really doesn't want to live. He's absorbing the intent around him like crazy. The other saint lords here all circulated their soul, will to resist the influence and invasion of this intent. This was because this intent was too profound, and they couldn't help but be immersed in comprehending it, forgetting about the outside world. I think that this human won't be able to leave this place. Another sacred lord noticed Zhao Feng's actions and laughed. Zhao Feng's actions right now were the same as a king eating resources that were effective even for sacred lords. The power wasn't something a measly king could withstand. He's really not afraid of death, but that's fine too. Sacred King Earth Ghost mocked Zhao Feng's actions. If Zhao Feng's consciousness accidentally fell into this desolate intent and fell into a deep sleep, then the fruit would belong to him alone. However, as the person in question, Zhao Feng obviously knew how terrifying this intent was. At the same time, he quickly comprehended a brand new intent of heaven and earth. This power quickly condensed Zhao Feng's soul intent, and a portion of it merged into Zhao Feng's sacred power whirlpool to increase the power of his mystic light sacred power. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng activated the symbols of God tribulation, lightning, within his lightning soul body and made his soul more active. This way, Zhao Feng would be able to stay awake and increase his own comprehension. Of course, while cultivating, Zhao Feng could also split off part of his consciousness to observe the situation. The two demigods were fighting in the sky for a single fruit. It was because of this that not many experts dared to fly up to search for treasures. Demigod Withered Breath. We'll each take half of this fruit, or else no one will get it. The non-human demigod Arcane Void threatened. Although he was slightly weaker than Demigod Withered Breath in terms of strength, he didn't need to defeat Demigod Withered Breath. He just needed to stall him and disrupt him. Demigod Arcane Void, you originally had a chance to find other fortune here, but that chance is gone now. Demigod Withered Breath's murky eyes suddenly released a weird light. Demigod Arcane Void's expression paused as he felt that something was wrong. Sky Suspension Palace was once the ruler of the world of cultivation in the Great Gone Lord Dynasty. The Grand Imperial Hall rose up and formed a Lord Dynasty with many other forces, causing Sky Suspension Palace to slowly decline. However, even then, Sky Suspension Palace was still a 4-star power and the second strongest force in the Great Gone Lord Dynasty. Its foundation could even fight against the Grand Imperial Hall. Wang, at a certain moment, an ancient white glove covered in weird runes appeared on Demigod Withered Breath's skinny right hand. The instant this glove appeared, the thick yuan qi in heaven and earth shook and gathered toward it. Streaks of dazzling white crystalline marks floated in the air, condensing into a massive crystalline claw that exuded a terrifying heavenly might that could suppress heaven and earth. Substandard God Weapon, Mark of Heaven. Demigod Arcane Void's eyes bulged out. If a demigod had a substandard God Weapon, their strength would increase by at least 40 to 50%. They were both demigods, but Demigod Arcane Void didn't have a substandard God Weapon. Demigod Withered Breath, who had the Mark of Heaven on him, waved his right hand, and the white crystals in heaven and earth started to move, forming a tornado that charged toward Demigod Arcane Void. At this moment, it was as if a crystalline crack had been torn open in the sky. The terrifying power that was emitting from it looked down upon the world and intimidated the universe. Not good. Demigod Arcane Void immediately took out a defensive heaven-grade weapon and burned a wisp of divine power to use a defensive secret technique. Ring of Heaven and Earth. Countless black feathers appeared around Demigod Arcane Void and formed a black protective barrier. Some of the sacred lords below were dazed as they watched a demigod use a substandard god weapon. Some of the sacred lords that were comprehending the intent of space were interrupted by the pressure. The power of a complete substandard god weapon. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. Only a demigod would be able to unleash the full power of a substandard god weapon. A demigod with a substandard god weapon would definitely have a higher battle power. This time, Zhao Feng was able to observe a battle between demigods up close. However, what he gained from watching a demigod's battle wasn't as good as Zhao Feng absorbing the intent here. In this state, it didn't take long for Zhao Feng's soul intent to visibly increase. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng's consciousness started to become blurry, as if he was about to fall into the intent of Earth, Yellow Mountain, and blazing sky. The intent here is too strong. If a normal sacred lord was like Zhao Feng and absorbed the power of heaven and earth in large amounts, they would have lost consciousness long ago and gone silent. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly started to circulate, and the amber light within it shot out a beautiful beam of light. After circulating the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng's mind instantly became clear, and the rate at which he comprehended the intent increased. Wang, the faint golden ripple that shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye could analyze everything and help Zhao Feng gain a deeper understanding of laws and intents. Shua, Zhao Feng felt as if his consciousness had completely merged into this dimension, and he could sense the power of heaven and earth more clearly. This brat's intent is so strong. Sacred King Earth Ghost, who wasn't far away from where Zhao Feng was cultivating, was surprised. Although most people's attention was attracted by the battle between the demigods in the sky, Sacred King Earth Ghost was so close to Zhao Feng that he could sense Zhao Feng's current state. Zhao Feng's mind was abnormally clear after using the power of the god's spiritual eye, and he spread out his intent to observe the outside world. In the sky, Demigod Arcane Void was no longer Demigod Withered Breath's match, and he was in a completely passive situation. However, Demigod Withered Breath couldn't do anything to Demigod Arcane Void for now. Demigod Withered Breath then let go of Demigod Arcane Void and used the Mark of Heaven to attack the fruit covered in crystals. Demigod Withered Breath switched from offense to defense. When Demigod Arcane Void attacked, he blocked it and focused most of his attention on the fruit. Crack! The cracks on the surface of the red fruit soon widened. Chapter 1089. Demigod Arcane Void didn't know what to do facing Demigod Withered Breath, who had turned from offense to defense. If Demigod Arcane Void could defend against Demigod Withered Breath, who was using a substandard god weapon, then Demigod Withered Breath could obviously defend against his attacks as well. Crack! Demigod Arcane Void was extremely anxious as the crack on the red fruit became bigger and bigger, but there was nothing he could do. There were only 2 non-human Sacred Kings present, and they didn't dare to help Demigod Arcane Void because there were more human experts than non-human experts. Demigod Arcane Void is still not as strong as Demigod Withered Breath. Zhao Feng had a new understanding. There was a clear difference in strength between demigods. Being the Grand Elder of Sky Suspension Palace, Demigod Withered Breath should be an expert just below Demigod Dragon Emperor of the Grand Imperial Hall. If there are no surprises, then this red fruit should belong to Demigod Withered Breath of Sky Suspension Palace. Zhao Feng said slowly before turning his gaze in another direction. At this time, Zhao Yufei was cultivating in a corner of the wall. Behind her, in the crystal wall, there was a crystal jade stone plate. The stone plate was divided into many rings. They slowly rotated, emitting a trace of strange and thin divine aura that flowed into Zhao Yufei's body. Wang, Zhao Yufei's flawless purple, crystal-like body flashed with a faint purple halo that made people's hearts palpitate. The natural energy in this area was affected by it and quickly merged into her body. The aura of God, a late-stage mystic light, realm human sacred lord not far away from Zhao Yufei, was surprised. He knew Zhao Yufei's identity and bloodline, so he obviously didn't disturb her. From the looks of it, Yufei has also found some fortune, Zhao Feng said with a faint smile. Zhao Yufei had the spiritual race bloodline, so she was extremely sensitive to heaven-earth yuan qi. Although she wasn't able to dig out the treasures within the crystal wall, Zhao Yufei's spiritual race bloodline was able to absorb the energy within the crystal jade stone plate. The crystal jade stone plate probably had some sort of connection with the spiritual race. Zhao Feng then turned his gaze toward Nan Gongseng. What surprised Zhao Feng was that Nan Gongseng had actually found a place to consolidate his intent and create a clone. At this moment, Nan Gongseng suddenly ended his cultivation. The power of the projection of the small world around him dissipated, revealing an incomplete clone inside. Heretic God mental thought entity, I'll leave it to you, Nan Gongsheng said impatiently. A purple and blood-colored light then flashed within Nan Gongsheng's body, and a portion of this purple and blood-colored light split off and entered the incomplete clone. Let's begin. A purple and blood-colored light flashed through the eyes of Nan Gongsheng's clone as he smiled wickedly. Nan Gongsheng's clone wasn't complete, so the intent within it was incomplete. However, at this moment, a portion of the evil god mental thought bodies will entered the clone and fused with the will power in the clone. It affected the thoughts of the will power and transmitted a powerful mental energy. Boom! Nan Gongseng and the incomplete clone then attacked the giant rock that Nan Gongseng had just been cultivating on. One could see that there were some cracks on the crystal wall that Nan Gongseng and the clone were attacking, and a black fruit could be faintly seen within the cracks. However, this fruit didn't have any light, unlike the fruits on the vines that gave off light. Boom! Nan Gongseng's power was the same as his clone's, and both of them could use a wisp of God's power. Nan Gongseng's intent has increased after entering this place, so his overall strength has increased extremely quickly. Zhao Feng slowly analyzed. Furthermore, Nan Gongseng had the help of his clone, and it was also extremely extraordinary under the influence of the evil god, mental thought body. Just like Nan Gongseng, the other experts here also started to place their gazes on some of the crystals. This was because they found that almost all of these crystals contained weapons or treasures, but the crystal walls blocked off all auras, making it impossible to determine the quality of the weapons or treasures within. Suddenly, Zhao Feng's intent felt a strange disturbance. Furthermore, only Zhao Feng could sense this faint disturbance. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng turned his gaze to where the little thieving cat was. At this moment, the little thieving cat was hidden in the air, so normal people couldn't see it. There was a giant crystal in front of the little thieving cat. Wang, a faint golden ripple covered Zhao Feng's left eye, and it seemed to pierce through everything. At this moment, Zhao Feng could clearly see what was inside the giant crystal in front of the little thieving cat. There was a short black blade and a purple and blood-colored crystal. Zhao Feng could only see a wave-like pattern on the short black blade, and a portion of the purple and blood-colored crystal was still hidden in the crystal ground, as if it was connected to some sort of power underground. What does the little thieving cat want to do? Zhao Feng was slightly puzzled. He obviously knew that the little thieving cat wanted the short black blade and the purple and blood-colored crystal within the giant crystal. However, these two items were hidden in the center of the crystal, and there wasn't even a crack on the crystal. Even a dozen demigods working together wouldn't be able to break through the giant crystal. Meow. The little thieving cat's mouth opened slightly, but only Zhao Feng could understand what the little thieving cat was trying to say. Only one chance. Zhao Feng repeated this sentence in his mind, but he didn't understand what it meant. A mysterious silver-gray flow of light suddenly appeared from the hidden little thieving cat's body. After this flow of light circled around the little thieving cat's body, the little thieving cat under Zhao Feng's left eye became even more transparent. It was as if its concealment skills had increased by several levels. From Zhao Feng's point of view, the little thieving cat wasn't just hiding in space. It was hiding in a deeper layer of origin laws. Even Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to sense the little thieving cat's existence if he didn't use the see-through ability of his golden eye. However, he could sense the little thieving cat's location through the spiritual pet contract. Who? The little thieving cat turned into a streak of light that couldn't be seen by normal people in its concealment state. It flashed through the air and disappeared without a trace. The next instant, Zhao Feng found to his surprise that the little thieving cat had passed through the giant crystal. At this moment, the little thieving cat was sitting on the purple and blood-colored crystal with its left paw on the short black blade. How is this possible? Zhao Feng's mind was in complete shock, and he almost came out of his comprehension state. What's wrong? Sacred King Earth Ghost was surprised as he looked at the 10 giant crystals that Zhao Feng was staring at, but he couldn't see anything. Zhao Feng glanced at Sacred King Earth Ghost. He hadn't destroyed the crystal yet, but this was understandable. However, this was understandable. After all, Sacred King Earth Ghost couldn't be like demigod Withered Breath in the sky and attack as he pleased. In order to prevent others from noticing him, Sacred King Earth Ghost attacked the crystal very carefully and didn't dare to use too much power. On top of that, not much time had passed since they started working together. Zhao Feng didn't bother with Sacred King Earth Ghost and looked at the little thieving cat once more. The little thieving cat used some kind of method to enter the giant crystal. However, the little thieving cat's body couldn't move at all. It was completely stuck in the crystal. The little thieving cat's eyes turned toward Zhao Feng. Although it couldn't speak right now, Zhao Feng could tell what the little thieving cat was thinking. It was showing off to Zhao Feng. The little thieving cat hid deep within the crystal. A dark current once more flowed out of its body, passing through its left paw and pouring into the black dagger. Wang, the unique patterns on the short black blade instantly flashed with a silver light. Be careful, or you won't be able to come out for the rest of your life. Zhao Feng cursed. At this moment, Zhao Feng realized that he had underestimated the little thieving cat once again. He didn't expect it to be hiding such a mysterious and powerful move. However, this damned spiritual pet didn't care about its owner's benefits. It only cared about itself. The short black blade that the little thieving cat was interested in was definitely not a normal item. One had to know that the little thieving cat had the Shadow Kill Imperial Dagger and the Dark Golden Dragon Snake Whip. The little thieving cat glanced at Zhao Feng and sent him a message. Zhao Feng's expression softened a little, and he nodded his head in agreement to the little thieving cat's plan. Zhao Feng then looked toward the entrance in the distance. 7 figures leapt in. These 7 were Sacred King Feather Spirit, Sacred King Shihai, and Sacred King Greenlight's groups that had chased after Zhao Feng and company. Zhao Feng, Sacred King Greenlight, immediately discovered Zhao Feng's existence. After all, Zhao Feng's position was extremely eye-catching, and he radiated an abnormally powerful mental energy undulation that stirred the intent of heaven and earth. We're already too late. The treasures that are easy to find have already been taken by someone else. Why don't we kill him now? Sacred King Feather Spirit said, after inspecting the situation. Go! Sacred King Shihai looked around and agreed with Sacred King Feather Spirit. Although the other sacred lords wanted the treasures and intents here and wanted to search for treasures or cultivate, they didn't dare to go against the wishes of the 3 sacred kings. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 7 of them charged straight at Zhao Feng. Sacred King Earth Ghost, the people from the Grand Imperial Hall are coming for me. You need to stop and lure them away with me. Zhao Feng messaged Sacred King Earth Ghost. What? You brat? You actually even offended someone from the Grand Imperial Hall. Sacred King Earth Ghost, who was cutting the crystal, was speechless. However, Zhao Feng's words were extremely reasonable. At this time, they had to lure these people away. Otherwise, the red fruits that they were seeking would be completely exposed. Zhao Feng, you have nowhere to run today. You will die for sure. Sacred King Feather Spirit revealed an arrogant smile as he flew over. Who? Zhao Feng immediately ended his seclusion and ran into the distance. The 7 upper echelon members of the Grand Imperial Hall immediately chased after him. It seemed like they were going to kill Zhao Feng no matter what. Sacred King Earth Ghost suddenly came out after Zhao Feng lured the 7 away. May I ask why Brother Feather Spirit and Brother Shihai are chasing after little friend Zhao Feng? Sacred King Earth Ghost suddenly asked. Those from the Grand Imperial Hall instantly turned around and looked at Sacred King Earth Ghost with surprised expressions. They all knew that the Earth Demon Cult and the Hall of Gods had some sort of conflict, but Sacred King Earth Ghost was standing up for Zhao Feng right now. It's like this. When we came here, my group teamed up with Zhao Feng's group temporarily in order to benefit from this place. Sacred King Earth Ghost could only give a forced explanation. He and Zhao Feng were indeed working together, but there was only one benefit, the yellow fruits. Sacred King Earth Ghost was the Grand Elder of the Earth Demon Cult, and the Earth Demon Cult was one of the top forces of the demonic Tao in the Great Gone Lord dynasty. Although the 3 sacred kings were part of the upper echelon of the Grand Imperial Hall, they didn't represent the demigods of the Grand Imperial Hall. They didn't act too forcefully toward Sacred King Earth Ghost. Sacred King Earth Ghost. This brat Zhao Feng extorted resources from the Grand Imperial Hall and is also the murderer of the 13th prince. Sacred King Feather Spirit started to slowly tell them about Zhao Feng's crimes. He believed that as long as the people from the Grand Imperial Hall expressed their desire to kill Zhao Feng, the Grand Elder of the Earth Demon Cult would back off. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng didn't care what the people from the Grand Imperial Hall and Sacred King Earth Ghost were saying. He split off a part of his consciousness to observe the little thieving cat. Chapter 1090. At this moment, the little thieving cat's body was stuck in the giant crystal and couldn't move. However, a silver-gray flow of energy flowed out of the little thieving cat's body and entered the black short blade through its claws. Wung wung, the unique patterns on the black short blade glittered with silver light and became brighter and brighter. At a certain moment, the black short blade trembled slightly in the giant crystal. Zhao Feng's expression changed. He didn't know what method the little thieving cat had used to enter the crystal, but the little thieving cat wasn't able to move at all. The black short blade trembled slightly in the crystal. What surprised Zhao Feng even more was that the crystals within the range of the black short blade's vibrations were sliced into pieces. One had to know that the crystals within the God Corpse contained the physical strength and divine power of the God Corpse when it was alive. Even if the demigods of the continent zone teamed up, they would find it very difficult to destroy them. However, at this moment, the black short blade and the 10 crystal pieces moved slightly and shattered the surrounding crystals. Because some of the surrounding crystals were shattered, the little thieving cat's paws were able to grab the black short blade. What happened next made Zhao Feng even more shocked and speechless. The little thieving cat injected a wisp of energy into the black short blade and easily cut open the crystal in front of it. It then dug out a small cave in the giant crystal. Meow meow. The little thieving cat moved its limbs in the small cave with a smug expression. It then rubbed the black short blade in its paws and revealed a look of love. The divine weapon that the little thieving cat obtained seems to be able to cut through the crystal walls as it pleases. Doesn't that mean that it can dig out any treasure hidden here? Zhao Feng's heart shook and felt that this was unbelievable. There were many treasures in the God Corpse that would make anyone go crazy, but they were all sealed in the crystal walls. Even a demigod couldn't do anything about them. At this moment, the little thieving cat used the black short blade in its paws to dig out a piece of crystal. However, no one would be able to sense this unless the divine sense of a demigod could see through the crystal walls. However, there were only 2 demigods here, and they were fighting in the sky. It was impossible for them to notice the little thieving cat inside a certain crystal. Although the little thieving cat's eyes were tired after obtaining the black short blade, it was still overjoyed. The little thieving cat then turned its attention to the purple and blood-colored crystal under its feet. Ding! The little thieving cat released a wisp of silver-gray energy from its claws. It used the black dagger in its hand to easily shatter some of the crystals, slowly revealing the purple and blood-colored crystals. Zhao Feng couldn't guess what this purple blood crystal was, but how could something that the little thieving cat valued be bad? Ding ding! A portion of the crystal was buried deep in the ground. The little thieving cat continued to dig. Sacred King Earth Ghost's voice sounded at this moment. Zhao Feng, is what Sacred King Feather Spirit said true? Sacred King Earth Ghost roared. In fact, he was very helpless in his heart. He didn't dare to go against the Holy King of the Supreme Imperial Hall. However, he had to help Zhao Feng right now. Once Zhao Feng was chased by Sacred King Feather Spirit and company, Zhao Feng would definitely tell them the secret of the fruit before he died. However, Sacred King Earth Ghost felt that it wasn't a big deal after the people from the Grand Imperial Hall told him about Zhao Feng's evil deeds. However, the most important thing was that Sacred King Earth Ghost could tell from Sacred King Feather Spirit's words that he was determined to kill Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, hurry up and apologize to them and give them some compensation. Sacred King Earth Ghost messaged Zhao Feng in secret. The Sacred Kings of the Grand Imperial Hall only cared about their face. As long as Zhao Feng apologized sincerely and Sacred King Earth Ghost persuaded them, the people from the Grand Imperial Hall might let go of Zhao Feng. Sacred King Feather Spirit, you guys are too shameless. Zhao Feng's expression paused for a moment before he said, "What?" Sacred King Earth Ghost almost fell down. He had never imagined that not only would Zhao Feng refuse to do as he said, he would even spout such arrogant words. At the same time, Sacred King Earth Ghost also felt that something was wrong. Logically speaking, escaping from the people from the Grand Imperial Hall and plucking the fruit was the most important thing right now. But Zhao Feng didn't seem to want to resolve the enmity between him and the people from the Grand Imperial Hall. Sacred King Earth Ghost, it's not that we're not giving you face, but I must kill this shameless thief. Sacred King Feather Spirit's expression was extremely ugly. Even the Sacred Kings and Sacred Lords behind him felt humiliated. Let's see how you're going to escape this time. Sacred King Feather Spirit revealed a deadly smile. The other two Sacred Kings immediately stepped forward as well. The three Sacred Kings released the projection of their little worlds to disturb the air so that Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to escape using the misty spatial world. Zhao Feng had an anxious expression as he floated in the air, but part of his consciousness was still focused on the little thieving cat situation. At this moment, the purple and blood-colored crystal had been completely dug out by the little thieving cat, and there seemed to be some crystal red veins connected to the purple and blood-colored crystal. Without saying anything else, the little thieving cat used a short black blade in its hand to cut it in half. The little thieving cat then picked up the giant purple and blood-colored crystal and swallowed it. Boom! Right at this moment, the entire dimension started to tremble. Inside the space, the gigantic vine suddenly trembled, and a terrifying intent domain was released along with the trembling of the giant vine. Some of the experts who were using the intent power to cultivate were suddenly attacked by this terrifying intent power. Their heads became dizzy and their consciousness sank. The intent released by Sacred King Feather Spirit and company was also instantly shattered. What's going on? The expressions of the two demigods in the air turned to surprise. The fruit they were fighting over was the product of this vine, and now the giant vine was shaking. The situation isn't looking good. Demigod Withered Breath had a grim expression. Boom! Demigod Withered Breath burned his mystic light, sacred power, and merged it into a wisp of divine power as he attacked the shattered crystal on the surface of the red fruit. Crack! The crystal on the surface of the red fruit started to shatter under Demigod Withered Breath's attacks. The red fruit instantly released a scorching intent realm energy. Even the souls of the two demigods felt a burning pain. How is this possible? It shattered so easily. Demigod Withered Breath couldn't believe it. He had spent so much effort at the start, but he still couldn't break through the crystal, but now it was shattered so easily. However, he didn't have time to think too much right now. Demigod Withered Breath directly plucked the red fruit. Boom! The moment the red fruit was plucked, the huge vine in the space trembled even more violently. On the other side, Nan Gongsheng, who was attacking the crystal, suddenly felt that the crystal in front of him had become much weaker. Soon, Nan Gongsheng dug out the black fruit from the crystal. At the same time, the experts that were digging for treasures in this dimension were able to easily destroy the crystal and obtain the treasures within. Even Sacred King, Feather Spirit, and company, who were about to attack Zhao Feng, started to hesitate. This was because the crystal walls didn't seem to be as tough as before. This meant that it would be slightly easier to obtain the treasures within the crystal walls or stones. Quick! The power of the crystal walls has suddenly become weaker. Attack the fruit on the vine. What's going on? I can feel that the power of God hidden within the crystal walls is slowly fading away. The dimension became chaotic, and many experts were puzzled and shocked. The expressions of the two demigods in the sky changed as they each attacked a fruit in front of them. Boom! Pong! Demigod Withered Breath soon obtained another fruit. The intent of this fruit seems to be much weaker. Demigod Withered Breath was slightly puzzled. On the other side, Demigod Arcane Void also obtained a fruit, but he also felt that the fruit in his hand wasn't as strong as the red fruit that Demigod Withered Breath obtained. Could it be that the energy within these fruits is also fading away? Demigod Withered Breath said after thinking for a while. The Sacred Lords and Sacred Kings below also copied the two demigods and attacked the fruits on the vine. However, right at this moment, the crystal walls on the surface of the giant red vine all shattered. The entire space shook violently. Boundless energy surged out of the huge vines like a wild beast. Even the heavens and the earth began to distort. Many experts who wanted to snatch the fruits had their soul consciousnesses shattered by this sudden burst of intent power. Even the two demigods in the sky started to quickly retreat and didn't dare to approach the giant vine. Run! The vine has revived. Some of the sacred lords that were severely injured or weaker were so scared that they immediately ran away. Wang, the giant vine, quickly twisted in the air and radiated a desolate and ancient aura. The countless vines on the giant vine started to twist and sweep through the dimension. Arg, an early-stage sacred lord that was running away, was hit by one of the vines, and his body and soul were shattered. Boom! Pung! Pung! The crystal in the sky instantly shattered and fell. The inside of the crystal seemed to be about to collapse. Let's go. This vine is too terrifying. Whoosh! Whoosh! All the experts within the dimension started to retreat. Nan Gongsheng also decisively chose to leave after obtaining the black fruit. Zhao Yufei also woke up from seclusion and quickly left. Whoosh! Zhao Feng turned into a bolt of scarlet lightning and flew toward the exit. Let's leave this place first. Sacred King Feather Spirit had an ugly expression. They had only just arrived and didn't even have the time to search for treasures before this place became a forbidden zone. Don't let that brat escape. Sacred King Green Light revealed a deadly expression. My fruit. Sacred King Earth Ghost had a conflicted expression, but he could only leave. At this moment, even demigods had to leave. He was just a measly sacred king, so he didn't dare to go any deeper. On the other side, the little thieving cat within the crystal used the short black blade in its hand to easily cut through the crystal that wasn't as tough anymore. Whoosh! The little thieving cat turned into a dark silver streak of light and flashed through the air. The next instant, a black streak of light appeared next to the red fruit that Sacred King Earth Ghost had just attacked and cut through the crystal. Then, the red fruit disappeared. Rumble. Boom. Boom. All the experts outside the crystal had escaped, but none of them left. The divine senses of the two demigods entered the crystal and inspected the situation inside. No one noticed that somewhere on the side of the crystal wall, a silver-gray light had pierced through the crystal wall and escaped. Wang, a faint golden ripple covered Zhao Feng's left eye as he saw what was happening inside. The huge crystal red vine and the countless colorful fruits twisted and turned until they became transparent and gradually disappeared. The aura of God within the crystal walls started to disappear as well. The energy within the weapons and resources within the crystal started to disappear as well, and their quality started to decrease. Chapter 1091. All the energy that disappeared is flowing into the ground. Zhao Feng's eyes saw through everything. The energy flowing into the ground flowed through the crystal walls and toward the direction behind Zhao Feng. That direction seemed to be the head of the god corpse. Too weird. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. After the vines revived, all the energy within the crystal had disappeared. The crystal walls and the treasures within were no exception. So what was it that was absorbing the power here? Zhao Feng couldn't imagine what would happen if such a terrifying amount of energy was gathered together. The aura of energy in the crystal walls is also slowly disappearing. At this moment, someone said. Immediately, everyone's gazes shifted away from the gigantic crystal to observe their surroundings. As expected, the aura of God in the crystal walls was weakening, and the thick heaven-earth yuan qi in the air was also slowly disappearing. At the same time, the quality of the treasures and resources within the crystal walls was also slowly decreasing. They weren't as valuable as they were before. Could it be that all the energy within the god corpse is going to slowly disappear? This question appeared in everyone's mind at this moment. We need to act quickly and find some more treasures before the fortune within the god corpse completely disappears. A human sacred lord immediately said. Then, the sacred lord led his team members and quickly left this place. The speed at which the energy within the god corpse disappeared varied. For example, everything within the crystal was disappearing extremely quickly, but the energy within the crystal walls was disappearing extremely slowly. There might even be some places where nothing had happened. The expressions of the two demigods in the sky became grim. What's going to happen? Demigod Withered Breath murmured with worry. If such a terrifying amount of energy was slowly disappearing, something would definitely happen soon. Whoosh! Demigod Arcane Void was the first to leave. After all, he had stopped Demigod Withered Breath in the crystal dimension. Now that there was no fortune here, and the human forces here were slightly stronger, it would be troublesome if Demigod Withered Breath teamed up with the experts here to deal with him. Demigod Arcane Void led some other members and flew in the direction behind him. He obviously sensed the direction in which the energy was flowing. As Demigod Arcane Void left, more non-humans also left. Sacred King Roaring Sky stayed where he was for a while. He really wanted to kill Zhao Feng, but the human demigod was still here, so he didn't dare to do anything. He could only leave. Zhao Feng, let's go, Nan Gongxing said. Nan Gongxing harvested a dull black fruit. Compared to the others, his harvest was considered plentiful. Where do you think you're going? Sacred King Feather Spirit's cold harumph sounded from behind Zhao Feng and company. Hand over everything you've got. Sacred King Greenlight's expression was grim. In their opinion, if it weren't for Zhao Feng being here, they would have rushed up to him. The three holy kings might even be able to find some treasures in that huge crystal object. Now that the huge crystal was completely destroyed, they naturally wouldn't let Zhao Feng escape. Some of the sacred lords and sacred kings nearby immediately retreated when they saw this. What did Zhao Feng do? How did he offend the Grand Imperial Hall? And there are 3 sacred kings and 4 sacred lords. Some sacred lords and a few sacred kings were surprised. Even the group from Sky Suspension Palace wouldn't dare to offend Sacred King Feather Spirit and company unless Demigod Withered Breath came out. Brother Feng, what do we do? Zhao Yufei's face was filled with anxiety. Although her mystic light, sacred power, and intent had increased dramatically in the crystal dimension, she hadn't fully consolidated it yet. The 3 of them still had no chance of winning against such a lineup. Zhao Feng, let's settle our debts. Sacred King Earth Ghost also stood out. He was extremely depressed that he didn't get the fruit. If it wasn't for the fact that Zhao Feng offended the people from the Grand Imperial Hall and forced Sacred King Earth Ghost to give up on the fruit, he might have succeeded already. Sacred King Earth Ghost obviously didn't dare to offend the Grand Imperial Hall, but now that Zhao Feng was being chased by 3 sacred kings, he wouldn't be scared even if Zhao Feng had the replica god-slaying arrow. Even if Zhao Feng had the real god-slaying arrow, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to use much of its power. 4 sacred kings and several sacred lords will be able to block it. Furthermore, Sacred King Earth Ghost had also led a small group here, and there were several sacred lords from the Earth Demon cult in his group. Sacred King Earth Ghost? Sacred King Feather Spirit paused for a moment. Sacred King Earth Ghost was standing on Zhao Feng's side when they were in the crystal dimension just now. Why did he suddenly change sides now? This brat and I are only working together temporarily. Now that we're out, our partnership is over. Sacred King Earth Ghost had a cold smile. The 3 sacred kings from the Grand Imperial Hall nodded their heads. From their point of view, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to escape even if he had wings. The addition of Sacred King Earth Ghost wouldn't affect him much. Even the Earth Demon cult is involved. I heard that Zhao Feng had a conflict with the Earth Demon cult when he chased after Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss. Some of the human sacred lords discussed. Many of them had the attitude of watching a good show. The Grand Elder of Sky Suspension Palace, Demigod Withered Breath, glanced at Zhao Feng, then led the experts of Sky Suspension Palace to the back. That direction was the direction where the energy within the God Corpse was flowing. Although Demigod Withered Breath had a bad feeling, he had to go and take a look. No one can save you now. Sacred King Feather Spirit smiled and said after seeing the group from Sky Suspension Palace leave. At this moment, Zhao Feng and company were facing 4 sacred kings and several sacred lords. Such a terrifying lineup was more than enough to destroy even a 3-star super sect with a deep foundation in the continent zone. Nan Gongxing's expression became anxious for the first time. Originally, when facing a team of 3 saint kings, although the 3 of them were in a disadvantageous position, if they took out many of their trump cards, they would still have a fighting chance. However, even Nen Gongsheng didn't feel any hope against 4 sacred kings and several sacred lords. However, Nen Gongsheng still couldn't help but look at Zhao Feng. However, all he saw was a calm face. Nan Gongsheng's expression shook slightly. Zhao Feng was still so calm in the face of such a dangerous situation, as if nothing had happened. What could he do? Pretending to be calm. Sacred King Feather Spirit looked at Zhao Feng and couldn't help but mock. Wang, the 4 sacred kings instantly released a powerful surge of intent that merged into the air and locked onto Zhao Feng and company. This way, they could prevent Zhao Feng and company from using the misty spatial world to escape. Zhao Feng spoke just as the 4 sacred kings were about to attack. "My helpers are here." Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. "Helpers?" Sacred King Feather Spirit's expression froze. Zhao Feng had helpers? Who can save you at a time like this? Sacred King Greenlight laughed mockingly. There were 3 sacred kings from the Grand Imperial Hall and the Grand Elder of the Earth Demon cult here. Apart from Sky Suspension Palace and demigods, who else in the continent zone could save Zhao Feng? Furthermore, according to what he knew, Zhao Feng wasn't related to any demigods in the continent zone at all. Who? Right at this moment, a golden figure flew out from a certain pathway. Kuan Yun. Sacred King Feather Spirit immediately called out. The expressions of the other 3 sacred kings changed. They had obviously heard about Kuan Yun before. Apparently, the demigod Kuan Yun had been reborn. I didn't expect Zhao Feng to be related to Kuan Yun. This Kuan Yun isn't simple. The sacred lords who were waiting to watch a good show were also stunned. Kuan Yun was once a demigod, and even the Grand Imperial Hall wouldn't easily offend a demigod. Furthermore, these sacred kings didn't represent the demigods of the Grand Imperial Hall. It's him. Nen Gongsheng also paused. He finally understood why Zhao Feng was so calm. Zhao Feng had already contacted Kuan Yun. Furthermore, Kuan Yun had already reached the level of a sacred king. His true strength was probably the strongest sacred king in the Lord Dynasty. If it was just the 3 of them and Kuan Yun, they wouldn't need to be scared of the enemy in front of them. On the other side, Zhao Yufei let out a breath. "You're finally here." Zhao Feng looked at Kuan Yun. When he came out of the crystal, Zhao Feng sensed that Kuan Yun was nearby through the token that Kuan Yun had given him in the misty spatial world. Therefore, Zhao Feng wasn't in a rush to leave after coming out. Fuck off. Who dares to hurt him? The demigod Kuan Yun flew over and released a heavy, dominating, and terrifying force that instantly crushed over. The intents of the 4 sacred kings were instantly dissolved. "Senior Kuan Yun, I am an elder of the Grand Imperial Hall." Zhao Feng extorted a member of the Grand Imperial Hall and tried to kill the 13th prince. Sacred King Feather Spirit revealed a respectful expression and immediately explained. "What bullshit are you talking about? Fuck off. Didn't you hear me?" Kuan Yun had an irritated expression as he interrupted. The expressions of the 4 sacred kings became ugly. Although they were all sacred kings like Kuan Yun gave them a lot of pressure. Zhao Feng paused for a moment and felt that it was extremely weird to see Kuan Yun so irritated. From his point of view, Kuan Yun would at most help him out. There was no way that Kuan Yun would fight with the Grand Imperial Hall for him. However, Kuan Yun didn't give the upper echelon of the Grand Imperial Hall any face at all. Right as Zhao Feng was thinking, another figure flew out from the pathway that Kuan Yun just came out from. Boom! The terrifying pressure caused the heavens and earth to tremble. All the experts present felt their hearts sink as their bloodline and saint force were suppressed. A non-human demigod, a mystic light realm sacred lord nearby, exclaimed in shock. "Kuan Yun, where do you think you're going?" The non-human demigod roared, causing the heaven-earth yuan qi to tremble. When he saw Zhao Feng next to Kuan Yun, his expression froze for a moment before he started to roar with laughter. "You're Zhao Feng, right?" The non-human demigod looked at Zhao Feng with killing intent. Demigod ferocity. Zhao Feng's eyes widened as he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He finally understood why Kuan Yun had such an anxious expression. Kuan Yun was being chased by a demigod. However, what made Zhao Feng depressed was that the demigod chasing after Kuan Yun was the non-human demigod ferocity. If he knew this was going to happen, he would have run away with Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei the moment Zhao Feng came out. However, Kuan Yun's arrival resolved the danger in front of him, but an even greater danger appeared in front of him. Chapter 1092. You're Zhao Feng, right? Demigod Ferocity looked at Zhao Feng with killing intent, but he didn't act rashly. However, he did not act recklessly because there were still many human experts present. He knew a few of the saint rulers from the Grand Imperial Hall. If these human experts teamed up, even Demigod Ferocity wouldn't be able to do anything to Kuan Yun and Zhao Feng. After all, demigods were still considered sacred kings. They had only touched the power of a god or reached the level of a true god. Zhao Feng, you have a feud with Demigod Ferocity? Kuan Yun paused for a moment as he looked at Zhao Feng. Kuan Yun, don't even think about getting your reward this time. Zhao Feng said coldly. Kuan Yun felt helpless. He didn't know about this. Although Kuan Yun had obtained a lot of fortune in the God Corps, it wasn't enough to solve his problem of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, so Kuan Yun really needed the resources that Zhao Feng had. The human sacred lords nearby felt that the situation wasn't good and immediately started to gather. Among those present, only Saint King level powerhouses could fight against this foreign race demigod. Luckily, there were many human Saint Kings present, and there were 3 from the Grand Imperial Hall. Therefore, most of the human sacred lords here sought protection from the Grand Imperial Hall's group. The 3 sacred kings from the Grand Imperial Hall and Sacred King Earth Ghost in front of Zhao Feng started to think. They could obviously tell that Demigod Ferocity had a feud with Zhao Feng. Since they were all humans, they should have teamed up with all the human experts present to fight against Demigod Ferocity. However, this meant that they were helping Zhao Feng solve the problem. The key was that they wouldn't dare to attack Zhao Feng after helping Zhao Feng solve the problem of Demigod Ferocity. Retreat. Sacred King Feather Spirit led the group and retreated, creating some distance between them and Zhao Feng. The Grand Imperial Hall has a feud with Zhao Feng and company. They're planning to abandon them. Who cares as long as we can survive? This is a demigod of a foreign race. We must rely on the power of the Supreme Imperial Hall. The human sacred lords around obviously knew what the sacred kings of the Grand Imperial Hall were thinking. Although they felt that humans should be united against the non-humans, they didn't dare to lecture the experts of the Grand Imperial Hall. The Supreme Imperial Hall is really reasonable. Demigod Ferocity laughed savagely. When he arrived, he could naturally tell that Zhao Feng and the experts of the Grand Imperial Hall seemed to have some conflict. However, from the looks of it, this conflict wasn't just an ordinary one. At the crucial moment, the Supreme Imperial Hall actually abandoned Zhao Feng and the others. You too. Demigod Ferocity suddenly stepped forward. Boom! Heaven and earth trembled faintly. Endless profound meanings began to circulate. Terrifying saint energy mixed with a trace of divine power exploded in the void. Demigod Ferocity also instantly appeared in front of Kuan Yun and Zhao Feng, and an undefiable and terrifying pressure descended onto Zhao Feng and Kuan Yun. Boom! Kuan Yun's body instantly flashed with a golden light as mysterious golden talismans floated around him and radiated a terrifying physical force. Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng weren't Demigod Ferocity's targets, so the pressure they had to face was slightly weaker. However, they still felt as if they were in a swamp, and it was as if a mountain was pressing down on them. Even breathing was extremely difficult. This is a demigod expert. Zhao Feng activated his Blood Devil Sun bloodline and circulated his sacred lightning body as he spoke with difficulty. Although the 3 of them had improved in the crystal, especially in terms of intent, they still felt as small as ants when facing the demigod intent. However, the 3 of them still felt as tiny as ants in the face of the demigod's will. Zhao Feng immediately said, Wang, Two powerful surges of power instantly appeared behind Zhao Feng. One was black and chaotic, while the other was dark purple. Zhao Feng released the projection of two little worlds to counteract the demigod's pressure. Zhao Yufei obviously knew that demigod ferocity was only targeting Zhao Feng and Kuan Yun, but she wouldn't leave Zhao Feng's side. Zhao Yufei's body suddenly started to burn. She was like a blazing purple meteor that shook the yuan qi of heaven and earth. Damn it, Nan Gongsheng felt helpless. Although demigod ferocity was only targeting Zhao Feng and Kuan Yun, he couldn't separate from Zhao Feng, or else he wouldn't be able to face all the expert from the Grand Imperial Hall by himself. Wang, a wicked and chaotic purple and blood-colored divine light, also appeared from Nan Gongsheng's body. The power of the projection of the miniature world from the three of them was astounding, enough to make ancient saint rulers retreat. Pung. A portion of demigod ferocity's intent was pushed away by the four powerful little worlds. Kuan Yun, who was blocking demigod ferocity, instantly felt a lot more relaxed. Sky Sealing Palm. Kuan Yun circulated his physical sacred power and slowly thrust out several dozen palms. The several dozen golden palms twisted and sank into heaven and earth as if they had just disappeared. However, in reality, these intent palms landed on demigod ferocity's intent and sealed a portion of it. At the same time, they cut off the connection between the intent and demigod ferocity. Let's go. Kuan Yin used this chance to escape with Zhao Feng and company. None of you will be able to escape this time. Demigod ferocity was slightly surprised. The four of them had managed to break through his intent, but he was still slightly happy at this moment. However, he was still happy at this moment. He didn't think that there would be other humans from the Grand Imperial Hall that didn't help Kuan Yun and Zhao Feng. This way, he would be able to kill Kuan Yun and Zhao Feng and save Sacred Lord myriad forms at the same time. The other Sacred Lords were still dazed after Kuan Yun, Zhao Feng, and demigod ferocity left. He's able to fight against a demigod, someone exclaimed. That's right. Kuan Yun and three other Sacred Lords were able to escape from a demigod. It's all because of Kuan Yun. One has to know that Kuan Yun is a reincarnated demigod. Another early-stage mystic light realm Sacred Lord said disapprovingly. Kuan Yun was the main reason why Zhao Feng and company were able to escape. Kuan Yun's intent was extremely strong, but it wasn't enough to fight against a demigod. Although Zhao Feng and company weren't strong, it was enough to let Kuan Yun let out a breath and use the Sky Sealing Palm. I don't believe they can survive being chased by a demigod. Sacred King Feather Spirit harumphed in anger. He was just unwilling to accept that Zhao Feng should be personally executed by him. I'll be leaving now. Sacred King Earth Ghost felt uneasy and said goodbye to the Sacred Kings from the Grand Imperial Hall. He originally thought that he would definitely be able to kill Zhao Feng if he teamed up with the Grand Imperial Hall, but something like this happened. Although he also thought that Zhao Feng would definitely die against the demigod, Sacred King Earth Ghost felt uneasy if he didn't personally confirm Zhao Feng's death. Within the crystal passageway, Zhao Feng, company, and Kuan Yun sped through the passageway. Kuan Yun, you cover the back. Zhao Feng straightforwardly said. Kuan Yun really wanted to curse at Zhao Feng, but he could only do as he was told. At this moment, Kuan Yun was the only one that could block the attacks of the demigods. Furthermore, Kuan Yun realized that the strength of Zhao Feng and company was increasing very quickly. If the four of them teamed up, they might be able to block demigod ferocity. However, the situation wouldn't be good if one of Zhao Feng and company died. Therefore, Kuan Yin had to cover the back in order to prevent that from happening. Sky Killing Charge. Powerful mystic light, sacred power, and a wisp of divine power surged around demigod ferocity's body. Wong boom. The shadow of a dark brown mammoth suddenly appeared around him. The mammoth roared fiercely, and a terrifying shockwave pierced through the material and psychic planes, crashing down on everyone. Boom! Boom! The terrifying shockwave left a series of cracks in the narrow passageway. Sky Sealing 18 palms. Kuan Yin roared as he completely activated his bloodline and soul power. Who? Who? His body flashed with a golden light as his demigod intent and soul merged together. He used a profound intent to unleash 18 golden palms that twisted and charged toward the shockwave that could destroy everything. Damn it, this Kuan Yin! Demigod Ferocity couldn't help but curse as he felt the power of his attacks decrease dramatically. Every time, Kuan Yin would use this mysterious palm technique to weaken the power of his attacks. Then, he would rely on his powerful physique, intent domain, and defensive secret techniques to resist his attacks. Kuan Yin would have died in his hands long ago. Boom! After his attacks were weakened by the sky sealing palm and weakened by the power of Zhao Feng and company's little worlds, Demigod Kuan Yin used a defensive secret technique to block Demigod Ferocity's attack. Little Thieving Cat. Zhao Feng communicated with the little thieving cat that had snuck into the misty spatial world. Zhao Feng had seen the power of the little thieving cat's black dagger. It could even easily cut through a crystal wall that a demigod couldn't break. The black dagger definitely had the power to kill a demigod. The little thieving cat immediately waved its paws and shook its head. The little thieving cat meant that it had used up too much energy and could no longer use the black dagger's power. At the same time, the little thieving cat refused to hand over the black dagger. Zhao Feng felt somewhat helpless. From his observations, the little thieving cat was indeed a little weak. It didn't seem like it was lying to him. Wong. Boom. In the outside world, Demigod Ferocity's attack was blocked by the combined efforts of the four. However, Demigod Ferocity was faster than the four of them and soon caught up. Let's attack together and repel him, Zhao Feng said directly. Attack a demigod. The hearts of Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei shook, and they felt excited. Sky-shaking fist. Kuan Yin laughed as he activated his physical body bloodline and condensed limitless physical force into his fists before punching out. Balls of golden fists, radiating a power that could shake heaven and earth, flew toward Demigod Ferocity. Wicked Demon Chaotic Sky. Spiritual Radiance Purple Light. Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei also used their strongest attacks. A ball of terrifying purple and blood-colored light twisted and charged forward. Sky-destroying Sacred Lightning Palm. Zhao Feng merged the power of his little world of wind lightning and the physical force lightning domain into his palms and unleashed a scarlet golden palm of lightning that seemed to materialize. Zhao Feng compressed this sacred lightning palm to a very small size so that it wouldn't collide with the crystal walls and cancel out the power of the attack. You still dare to fight back? Demigod Ferocity's expression froze. Whoosh! A giant dark red axe appeared in Demigod Ferocity's hand. The axe was extremely damaged, but it radiated a fierce aura. Sky Ferocity slash. Demigod Ferocity was slightly enraged. He waved the weapon in his hand and slashed out beams of red light the size of mountains that shattered everyone's attacks. He originally thought that Zhao Feng was only at the early stages of the mystic light realm and could be killed with a flick of his finger. He didn't expect Zhao Feng to have two companions. Furthermore, the strength of Zhao Feng and company was stronger than expected. Adding on Kuan Yin, the four of them did indeed have some ability. Chapter 1093. The non-human Demigod Ferocity held the tattered axe in his hand and shattered everyone's combined attacks. His axe was originally a substandard god weapon, but it was slightly damaged, so its power had decreased. However, even so, the power of this dark red axe still surpassed normal heaven-grade weapons. Sky Sealing 18 Palms. Kuan Yin used this chance to use the Sky Sealing 18 Palms once more. His body flashed with a golden light as he activated the powerful demigod intent within his body and thrust out 18 golden palms that twisted around Demigod Ferocity. Although Kuan Yin's palms weren't able to threaten Demigod Ferocity, they could restrict him. Whoosh! Whoosh! Zhao Feng and Kuan Yin then used this chance to escape. In order to increase their speed, Zhao Feng summoned Sacred Lord Myriad Forms. Myriad Forms world of wind lightning. Sacred Lord Myriad Forms squinted his eyes and instantly changed the scenery of heaven and earth. He also gave Zhao Feng a limitless amount of pure power of wind lightning. Who? Zhao Feng's scarlet wings of lightning flashed with an even brighter light as his speed increased. Zhao Feng took Ngongsheng and Zhao Yufei and flew away. Kuan Yun's intent was extremely high, and his speed wasn't any slower than Zhao Feng's. So that's how it is. You actually managed to control Sacred Lord Myriad Forms. Kuan Yin could tell with one glance that Zhao Feng had used the Dark Heart Seal to control Sacred Lord Myriad Forms. After all, he had been controlled by Zhao Feng because of the same thing. The Elephant Men race definitely placed a lot of importance on Sacred Lord Myriad Form's bloodline and talent, which was why Demigod Ferocity was chasing after Zhao Feng to save Sacred Lord Myriad Forms. How dare you use Myriad Forms? Demigod Ferocity roared in anger when he saw this, and an invisible force caused the walls nearby to tremble. Divine Light escape. Demigod Ferocity waved his hands, and wisps of divine power surrounded his body. Whoosh! Demigod Ferocity, who was covered in divine light, ignored all resistance and flashed like an aurora as he sped through the tunnel. Sky ceiling 18 palms. Once again, Kuan Yin unleashed several translucent golden palm shadows. However, this time, the Kuan cloud ceiling palm didn't have much of an effect on Demigod Ferocity. Dai Kuan Yin. Demigod Ferocity raised the tattered giant axe in his hand and injected large amounts of mystic light, sacred power, and divine power into it as he slashed out a dark red wave of light. Boom! A hole immediately appeared in the crystal wall above them, and the surrounding crystal walls also shook violently. The dark red light wave instantly shuttled in front of everyone. Not good. Demigod Ferocity is going all out. Before Demigod Ferocity's attack even landed, Zhao Feng, who was circulating his sacred lightning body, felt a terrifying power that could destroy heaven and earth, and an invisible pain spread across his body. Demigod Ferocity's attack contained a large amount of divine power, and the dark red axe in his hand wasn't simple either. You old fart, there will be a day when I recover to the demigod realm. Kuan Yin also felt a sense of fatal danger. Buzz! Kuan Yin channeled the golden divine light in his body into the ancient gray-white wrist guard on his left arm. Chaos Heaven Protection. Kuan Yin immediately stood out as the gray-white wrist guard on his left arm released a golden white light. Whoosh! Whoosh! A golden white barrier slowly appeared around Kuan Yin's body. Countless runes flashed on it as it redirected all the power that approached it. Boom! Demigod Ferocity's attack landed on the golden white barrier around Kuan Yin and created a loud explosion. Wangshu! The golden white barrier around Kuan Yin spun at a high speed and slowly deflected the power of Demigod Ferocity's attack. However, Demigod Ferocity's attack was extremely dominant, and the golden white barrier around Kuan Yin started to slow down as if it was about to stop spinning. Substandard God Weapon. Greed flashed through Demigod Ferocity's eyes as he stared at the wrist guard on Kuan Yin's arm. Although it was a substandard god weapon, only divine power could unleash the full power of a substandard god weapon. Kuan Yin was only a sacred king right now, so the amount of divine power he could use was limited. Therefore, he wouldn't use his divine power unless it was absolutely necessary. Sky Ferocious Slash. Demigod Ferocity slashed out another dark red blade. He was impatient to obtain the substandard god weapon in Kuan Yin's hands. Right at this moment, a bronze shield with beast carvings on it appeared in Nan Gongsheng's hand behind Kuan Yin. Nan Gongsheng circulated a wisp of the evil god's power and poured it into the golden pawn shield. Wong boom! In an instant, a primitive and barbaric roar came from the ancient bronze shield. A huge phantom of a beast's head condensed and shrouded the surroundings of the Kuan Yin's platinum rune light shield. Boom! Demigod Ferocity's attack was weakened by Nangongsheng's defensive substandard god weapon, and it was completely blocked by Kuan Yun's substandard god weapon. There's even a substandard god weapon. Demigod Ferocity's heart shook. He was a demigod, but he only had a tattered substandard god weapon. On the other hand, a Sacred King and a late-stage Sacred Lord each took out a defensive substandard god weapon. It was normal for two defensive substandard god weapons to block his attack. Even if you have substandard god weapons, you won't be able to escape today. Demigod Ferocity's expression was slightly insane. As long as he killed these people, he would be able to obtain two substandard god weapons. Substandard god weapons could only unleash their full power with divine power, and Kuan Yun and Nangongsheng could only use a limited amount of divine power. They definitely couldn't use the power of the substandard god weapons endlessly. Therefore, even if these humans had substandard god weapons, they would only be able to struggle for a little longer. However, right at this moment, a sharp golden light that could pierce through the soul pierced through Demigod Ferocity's body and caused his soul to shake. What? Demigod Ferocity's expression paused for a moment as he looked at Zhao Feng, who was behind Nangongsheng and Kuan Yun. Whoosh! A giant dark golden arrow pierced through everything and flew toward him, dragging a terrifying dark golden energy storm behind it. Kuan Yun and Nangongsheng dodged the attack range of the substandard god slaying arrow with Zhao Feng's warning. Boom! The substandard god slaying arrow accurately landed on Demigod Ferocity's body, and a terrifying soul-type storm of god tribulation lightning started to spread. Go! Zhao Feng roared. He didn't think that the substandard god slaying arrow would be able to do much damage to Demigod Ferocity. Zhao Feng, I didn't think that you would have such a hidden card. Kuan Yin smiled and said. One had to know that Zhao Feng was only at the early stages of the mystic light realm, and the power of that arrow, just now, was enough to kill any late-stage mystic light realm or severely injure a mystic light realm Sacred King. Therefore, this hidden card was a terrifying killing move for normal early-stage mystic light realm Sacred Lords. Zhao Feng didn't say anything. He just used the lightning wings flying technique and picked up Nangongsheng and Zhao Yufei. In reality, Zhao Feng could have used the god-slaying arrow or the misty spatial world to escape Demigod Ferocity's pursuit. However, the god-slaying arrow was Zhao Feng's strongest hidden card, so Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't use it unless he absolutely had to. Using the misty spatial world would cause Zhao Feng to deviate from his current target. We'll head directly to the head of the god corpse. There should be a large number of humans and non-humans gathered there. Demigod Ferocity won't dare to do anything to us then. Zhao Feng told Kuan Yun his plan. Kuan Yun could also feel that the energy in some areas of the god corpse was slowly disappearing, and the direction it was flowing towards was the head of the god corpse. However, there is still a long distance between here and the demigod's head. If we meet any powerful human demigods along the way, we can ask them for help, Zhao Feng said. Although he wasn't related to the demigods of the Great Gonlor dynasty, they were both humans. They obviously wouldn't just watch, as Zhao Feng and company were chased by a non-human demigod. A faint golden ripple spread through Zhao Feng's left eye as it scanned across the crystal walls. Now that the energy within the crystal walls had weakened, Zhao Feng could see through more of them. However, even then, Zhao Feng still hadn't found any powerful human demigods. He did find a few human groups, but none of them had the guts to help Zhao Feng block the non-human demigods. On the other hand, the path that Zhao Feng chose was also to avoid the non-human experts. Wong boom. At this moment, a pressure that felt like the power of the heavens appeared behind them once more, and it quickly closed in on Zhao Feng and company. At the same time, somewhere in the god corpse, a layer of black light flashed across the dim eyes of an elder in gray, and a shocking surge of eye bloodline power surged within it. There were several dozen black-robed people next to him. All of them had powerful auras, and they were all mystic light realm experts. Two of them were even Sacred Kings. There was a giant blood crystal Yao spirit in front of the several dozen black-robed people. Its body was covered in lines of blood, and it glowed with a reddish-gold light. In the hand of the blood crystal demon spirit, there was a golden-white pearl emitting a dazzling radiance. Within the pearl, there were mysterious and profound golden runes. You think you can obtain this substandard god weapon with just you? The golden white pearl in the blood crystal Yao spirit's hand instantly released a beam of golden white light that swept toward the group of black-robed people. In an instant, all the black-robed people were shattered by this beam of golden white light. However, the next instant, the shattered black-robed people slowly reformed in the air. The elder in gray's left eye suddenly twitched as if he sensed something. Zhao Feng, don't die too early. The elder in gray smiled and looked at the giant blood crystal Yao spirit in front of him. Within the god corpse, there was a crystal red lake in a crystal cave outside the head of the god corpse. A demonic fish monster made of crystal red water flowed within the lake. Die, demonic fish. There were 5 figures with cold expressions and terrifying auras around the demonic fish. Boom! Pong! The 5 demonic Tao experts surrounded the demonic fish, constantly launching terrifying demonic Tao attacks of monstrous power. Roar! The translucent red demonic fish emitted a sorrowful and indignant cry. A heart-shaking soul domain fluctuation spread out, causing the souls of the surrounding demonic path powerhouses to shiver. Move aside. At this moment, an illusory old man shrouded in monstrous demonic flames said coldly behind the 5. Grand Elder, Elder Dark Ocean. The 5 demonic Tao experts immediately retreated. 9 Darkness Demonic Light. Demigod Dark Ocean snickered coldly as he circulated a surge of pitch-black divine power and thrust out his palm. A massive, jet-black beam of light containing a terrifying demonic might pierced through space, ignoring everything as it descended before the demonic fish and pierced through it. The hearts of the 5 demonic Tao experts went cold as they watched the blood crystal Yao fish sink to the bottom of the lake. They then looked at Demigod Dark Ocean with respect. Let's head to the head of the god corpse. Demigod Dark Ocean's eyes flashed with a cold light. It's a pity that we didn't see Zhao Feng. I hope that he can make it to the head of the god corpse alive. Demigod Dark Ocean revealed a cold smile. Chapter 1094. In a certain part of the god corpse, Zhao Feng, Kuan Yun, and company were quickly flying through the crystal pathway. The terrifying pressure from demigod ferocity crushed toward them. Zhao Feng, he's catching up. Kuan Yun asked in a questioning tone. Even though Kuan Yun and Nan Gongsheng both had substandard god weapons that could block demigod ferocity's attacks, they couldn't use much divine power, so it wasn't a long-term plan. Furthermore, there was no point in just defending. As long as demigod ferocity didn't let go, he would be able to slowly exhaust them to death. Zhao Feng's expression became grim. If this continued, he would have to use the god-slaying arrow in the end, but even then, he would only be able to severely injure demigod ferocity. The human group. Zhao Feng's gaze passed through several dozen crystal walls and found a group to the right. Logically speaking, Zhao Feng didn't have any relationship with any sacred king in the Great Gonlor dynasty, and normal sacred king groups wouldn't dare to help Zhao Feng block the non-human demigod. However, the leader of this group was the Grand Elder of Black Screen Corner, Sacred King Darkscreen. Zhao Feng felt that it was very likely that Sacred King Darkscreen would help him. Sacred King Darkscreen was on the same level as Sacred King Feather Spirit. He was one of the stronger sacred kings. Let's go. Zhao Feng led Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei in a slightly different direction. Grand Elder, the super forces of both Lord dynasties have gathered at the head of the God Corps. It'll be very difficult for us to get a share. An old man from a Black Screen Corner team said. Nothing is absolute. Sacred King Darkscreen, who was leading the group of 5, said with a decisive gaze. A portion of the energy in the god corpse was gathering toward the head of the god corpse. There must be some secret behind this. It would be Sacred King Darkscreen's fault if Black Screen Corner missed the fortune there. Furthermore, Black Screen Corner was a neutral force and hadn't offended any forces. It would be very easy for them to team up with other strong forces. Right at this moment, Sacred King Darkscreen suddenly sensed something and turned around. Zhao Feng. Sacred King Darkscreen's divine sense passed through several crystal walls and saw Zhao Feng's figure. Friend Zhao, are you planning to go to the skull area of the god corpse? Sacred King Darkscreen asked playfully. He was very surprised that Zhao Feng was able to survive until now after entering the god corpse. But now, Zhao Feng still wanted to explore the head of the god corpse. He was really reckless. Kuan Yun. Sacred King Darkscreen's expression froze as he looked at the golden figure behind Zhao Feng. Black Screen Corner mainly dealt with assassinations and intelligence gathering. Naturally, they knew Kuan Yun's background and details like the back of their hands. Moreover, according to Black Screen Corner's intelligence, it was speculated that Zhao Feng and Kuan Yun were closely related. Unexpectedly, Zhao Feng and Kuan Yun were working together in the god's corpse. Senior Yumu, do me a favor, Zhao Feng shouted before he arrived. If it's within my capabilities, this old man will naturally not shirk. Sacred King Darkscreen stroked his beard. No matter what, Zhao Feng had given him an extremely precious purifying blood sacred spirit pill back then, and Kuan Yin was also present in Zhao Feng's group. This meant that the overall strength of Zhao Feng's group was on par with his group, so they could work together. Sacred King Darkscreen's group felt a terrifying pressure that could destroy heaven and earth slowly descend upon them the moment Sacred King Darkscreen finished speaking. Senior Yumu, help us deal with the non-human demigods. At this moment, Zhao Feng arrived next to Sacred King Darkscreen and finished speaking. A loud explosion sounded, and demigod ferocity appeared in front of everyone. His mountainous aura made it hard for all the experts present to breathe. The weaker sacred lords in Sacred King Darkscreen's group couldn't even stand straight. Demigod ferocity of the non-humans. A sacred lord from Black Screen Corner exclaimed as he fell to the ground. Even Sacred King Darkscreen was dazed. He stood there in shock. He was obviously shocked that Zhao Feng and company were still able to escape alive after being chased by a demigod. Even if Kuan Yin was in Zhao Feng's group, it was impossible for them to stop a legendary demigod. Hee, and I thought that you found some amazing helpers, but it's just a bunch of ants. Demigod Ferocity glanced at the group from Black Screen Corner with disdain. The sacred lords in front of him weren't even able to block Demigod Ferocity's magnificent intent. Only Sacred King Darkscreen was worthy of his attention. Sacred King Darkscreen's expression froze when he heard that, and he said with a deep gaze, "What methods do you have?" The fact that Zhao Feng and company were able to escape all the way here while being chased by a demigod meant that Zhao Feng and company had a method that could stop this non-human demigod. Furthermore, Kuan Yin was in Zhao Feng's group. Kuan Yin was a demigod that had revived and had recovered to the level of a sacred king, but his true strength was definitely extremely strong. Sacred King Darkscreen also wanted to fight against a demigod. Of course I have a method. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and took out 4 black array flags. 9 Darkness Palace's Evil Death in Spirit Array. Sacred King Darkscreen was very knowledgeable and immediately recognized the origin of the array flags in Zhao Feng's hand. Shua, shua, shua. Zhao Feng threw out 3 black flags and gave them to Sacred King Darkscreen, Nin Gongsheng, and Zhao Yufei. This Evil Death in Spirit Array was the array that Sacred Lords of 9 Darkness Palace had set up to kill Zhao Feng, but the 4 experts that tried to kill Zhao Feng were all slain by Zhao Feng, so this array was obviously in Zhao Feng's hands. All of you retreat. Sacred King Darkscreen immediately said to the other members of Black Screen Corner. Normal Sacred Lords were useless in front of a demigod. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The other members of Black Screen Corner immediately retreated several miles after hearing what the Grand Elder said. Zhao Feng and company then circulated their mystic light, sacred power, and activated the array flags. The 4 black array flags stood in the air, and each of them burned with the power of the ghost Tao. They gave off a ghostly wail that made one's hairs stand on end. In an instant, the 4 array flags flashed with a black light and expanded dramatically. They smashed into the crystal wall like 4 pillars. Everything within several miles was covered by a black and blood-colored light. A barrier of black flames formed around Zhao Feng, Sacred King Darkscreen, and company. Kuan Yun, you stall the demigod. We'll support you, Zhao Feng immediately said. The only ones in the group that could fight against demigod ferocity were Kuan Yun and Sacred King Darkscreen. In comparison, Kuan Yun was slightly stronger. Sure, Kuan Yun immediately agreed. He didn't expect Zhao Feng to have such a profound array. The power of this array could gather the power of Zhao Feng and company, and it could easily kill normal Sacred Kings. With such a terrifying array in Kuan Yun, they might be able to fight against demigod ferocity head-on. Senior Darkscreen, you'll be the main array of the evil Death Een Spirit Array. Zhao Feng then said to Sacred King Darkscreen. The evil Death Een Spirit Array was an array of the demonic Tao, so Sacred King Darkscreen will be able to unleash more of the array's power. Activate the offensive killing array. Zhao Feng straightforwardly said. As long as one merged their consciousness into the array flags, they would know how to activate it. The 4 of them circulated a special technique and slammed their palms onto the array flags burning with black flames. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Countless ghosts instantly appeared in the dimension of hell. They had gruesome expressions, and they reached out with ghastly white claws. These Een ghosts slowly fused together, forming a huge skeletal ghost that enveloped the entire formation. You want to stop me with such a tattered array? Demigod Ferocity had a disdainful expression as he circulated his power and slashed out a giant dark red wavy blade. Sky Sealing Palm. Kuan Yun immediately took action and weakened Demigod Ferocity's attack. The 4 of them then circulated their mystic light, sacred power in a frenzy, and a ghostly aura surged around the array. The giant skeleton reached out with its ghastly white claws and blocked the dark red wavy blade. Wong boom! The entire array started to shake as all the power within the array surged into the sky. In the end, the 4 of them were still able to block Demigod Ferocity's attack. Although Zhao Feng, Kuan Yun, and company had been able to block Demigod Ferocity's attack last time, they had used the power of substandard god weapons. The evil Death Een Spirit Array is famous for trapping and killing, but it can also be used as an offensive array. The person holding the array flags will be protected by the power of the entire array. Sacred King Darkscreen had heard about 9 Darkness Palaces array a long time ago. This array won't be effective if we're missing one person. Demigod Ferocity had an angry expression when he saw that his attack was blocked. Sky Ferocity slash. This time, Demigod Ferocity didn't attack the entire array. Instead, he attacked the person holding the array flags. Yufei. Zhao Feng guessed who Demigod Ferocity was going to attack before he even attacked. Wong boom. Boom. A giant dark red wavy blade slashed toward Zhao Yufei with a dominating aura that seemed to be able to shatter everything. Even though Zhao Yufei had the bloodline of the spiritual race and her defense was shocking, a demigod's attack contained divine power. Even the body of a spiritual race member could be completely destroyed. Nan Gongsheng, lend me the Golden Pond shield, Zhao Feng straightforwardly said. Nan Gongsheng hesitated for a moment before handing the Golden Pond shield over to Zhao Feng. Whoosh! Zhao Feng waved his left arm, and Sacred Lord myriad forms appeared where Zhao Feng was and controlled the array. Zhao Feng took the Golden Pond shield and circulated his wings to the maximum as he rushed next to Zhao Yufei and activated the Golden Pond shield. Wang, a giant snarling beast head suddenly appeared in the sky. At the same time, The ghostly skeleton formed by the evil death-ean spirit array extended its claws and blocked demigod Ferocity's attack with the power of the substandard god weapon in Zhao Feng's hand. Sky-shaking fist. Kuan Yun used this chance to activate his physical body bloodline and merge a wisp of divine power into his fists before punching out. Balls of golden fists radiated an intent that could shake heaven and earth as they charged toward demigod Ferocity. Boom! Pung! Using the substandard god weapon and the power of the evil death-ean spirit array, Zhao Feng managed to block demigod Ferocity's attack. Bam! Zhao Feng spat out a mouthful of blood as pain spread through his body. Without divine power, Zhao Feng couldn't unleash the true power of the substandard god weapon. On the other side, demigod Ferocity was hit by Kuan Yun's attack and was pushed back several dozen steps before crashing into the crystal wall behind him. Although Kuan Yun was only a sacred king, his intent was profound, and he could still injure demigod Ferocity with his divine power. Brother Feng. Zhao Yufei's eyes became misty as she started to cry. I'm fine. Zhao Feng immediately circulated the water of wind lightning and wood of wind lightning within his body and started to heal. Good. I managed to injure that old, undying bastard. Kuan Yin felt smug. This was the first time that demigod Ferocity had been injured by his attacks since he started chasing after him. On the other side, Sacred King Darkscreen had a faint smile on his face. Fighting against a demigod and injuring a demigod could be considered his best result so far. The eyes of the other sacred lords of Black Screen corner bulged as they took in cold breaths. In their hearts, demigods were the legends of the continent zone. They were invincible existences. At this moment, their Grand Elder, Sacred King Darkscreen, was able to fight back against a non-human demigod with Zhao Feng and even injure a demigod. How unbelievable was that? Chapter 1095. I'm going to kill all of you. Demigod Ferocity's enraged voice sounded from behind. Boom! Demigod Ferocity's body released a dark yellow barrier of light. The power of the little world projection caused heaven and earth to dim, and an extremely heavy pressure and restrictions descended upon the surroundings. Kuan Yun immediately released the projection of his little world, and the power of a golden little world started to spread as it tried to block the intent of demigod Ferocity's little world. Zhao Feng had to activate his perfect blood devil sun bloodline and circulate his sacred lightning body at full power in order to barely block the terrifying power of the little world projection. On the other hand, Zhao Yufei, Nan Gongsheng, Sacred Lord Myriad Forms, and the others with weaker bodies within the evil death-ean spirit array had the protection of the evil death-ean spirit array, so they weren't affected much. Go to hell. Demigod Ferocity's enraged eyes glared at Zhao Feng. Only now did he realize that Zhao Feng was the most important person in the group. Zhao Feng had been the one giving the orders on the way here. Sky Ferocious Slash. This time, Demigod Ferocity's attack was even more terrifying with the amplification of his little world. The dark red wavy blade that seemed to be able to shatter everything crushed toward Zhao Feng with unparalleled pressure. Kuan Yun's body shook when he saw this terrifying attack. Sky ceiling 18 palms. The child demigod activated his bloodline and soul power as he thrust out more than a dozen golden palms. Waves of profound golden palms twisted as they attacked heaven and earth around the demigod ferociously. The power of the dark red wavy blade was weakened, and its speed slowed down for an instant. Brother Feng, Zhao Yufei called out urgently. Even Zhao Feng, who had a substandard god weapon, wouldn't be able to block demigod Ferocity's terrifying attack. Sacred King Darkscreen and Nan Gongsheng's hearts tightened. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng's words sounded in everyone's minds. Attack demigod Ferocity with all your strength. Find a right time and prepare. What? The four people in charge of the formation, including Kuan Yun, were shocked and in disbelief. Demigod Ferocity's attack was about to reach Zhao Feng, but Zhao Feng told them to attack demigod ferocity instead. Could it be that Zhao Feng had a way to block demigod ferocity's attack? Facing demigod ferocity's attack, Zhao Feng raised his gold pond shield once again. Buzz! A blood-colored crystal bead appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. A blood-gold divine light surged out from it and poured into the gold pond shield. This blood-colored crystal bead was the blood god crystal Zhao Feng had obtained from the blood-colored pond when he first entered the god corpse. Only now did Zhao Feng remember that although he had no divine power in his body, he could borrow divine power from the outside world. Bzzz. In a split second, a primitive and barbaric roar came from the ancient bronze shield. A gigantic red beast head condensed and enveloped Zhao Feng. This supreme aura that could shake heaven and earth was the aura of divine power. How was this possible? Even this brat has divine power? Demigod Ferocity was stunned and felt disbelief. Kuan Yun had divine power because he was a reincarnated demigod, and Nan Gongsheng had it because he had inherited the power of the evil god. While Demigod Ferocity was stunned, Sacred King Darkscreen controlled the evil Death Een Spirit Array and controlled the gigantic skeletons in the air to attack Demigod Ferocity. Nan Gongsheng gripped the Black Array flag and poured in a wisp of the power of the evil god without hesitation. A wicked, blood-colored pattern instantly appeared on the surface of the gigantic skeletons. At the same time, Demigod Kuan Yin was extremely excited. He activated his bloodline and body, merged his intent, and swung his fists. Kuan Fist. Kuan Yin used the sure kill technique of the heaven-sweeping fist and struck out with countless fiery and dazzling golden fist lights. These golden fists seemed to merge into one, and their momentum shook heaven and earth as they landed on Demigod Ferocity's location. On the other side, the gigantic dark red wavy blade pierced through the red beast heads around Zhao Feng as if it was about to slice them apart. So strong, Zhao Feng already knew that he wouldn't be able to block Demigod Ferocity's dominating attack, even if he circulated his divine power. Earth Lightning Sacred Armor. Sacred Lightning Protection. Zhao Feng immediately circulated his Sacred Lightning Body and Wind Lightning Technique to use two defensive techniques. The Earth Lightning Sacred Armor was the corresponding defensive technique from the 9th level of the Earth of Wind Lightning. Wang, a dark yellow sacred power of Wind Lightning, surged around Zhao Feng's body and instantly formed a crystalline armor surrounded by Wind Lightning. There was also an invisible layer of gravity around the armor. At the same time, Zhao Feng merged the Earth of Wind Lightning with his physical sacred power and formed a golden-white barrier of wind lightning around him. Crack! The red wavy blade sliced through the golden pawn shield's defense and landed on Zhao Feng's two defensive techniques. Boom! Pung! Zhao Feng's body was sent flying several miles and smashed into the crystal wall. At the same time, the evil Death Een Spirit Array and Kuan Yun's full power attack landed on Demigod Ferocity. Get ready! Sacred King Darkscreen roared. Nan Gongsheng, Zhao Yufei, and Sacred Lord Myriad Forms nodded their heads. Wang, a destructive sense of danger instantly appeared above the evil Death Een Spirit Array. The black skeleton above the array started to furiously absorb the power of the four and started to twist and expand. Explode. The four of them threw the array flags in their hands toward Demigod Ferocity. The entire array covered Demigod Ferocity, and the giant skeleton leaped toward Demigod Ferocity and exploded. At this moment, Nan Gongsheng, Kuan Yun, and company had already retreated. Boom! A destructive black shockwave mixed with all kinds of terrifying energy swept out. Art! Demigod Ferocity's screams sounded in everyone's ears. It's not over yet. In the distance, Zhao Feng, who was bathed in blood, pulled his bow. Wang, destructive power of God Tribulation, lightning, surged into Zhao Feng's lightning soul body. At the same time, Zhao Feng circulated the bloodline divine power within the blood god crystal in his hand. Whoosh! A huge scarlet gold arrow pierced through everything, dragging a terrifying scarlet gold energy storm behind it as it charged toward the center of the explosion. Pung! A terrifying storm of metal and lightning elements, accompanied by a divine aura, once again exploded. Run! Everyone started to run after shooting out the substandard god, slaying arrows. Myriad Forms World of Wind Lightning. Sacred Lord Myriad Forms immediately changed the elements of heaven and earth. Zhao Feng and Sacred Lord Myriad Forms controlled the intent of Wind Lightning, and Lednan Gongsheng, Zhao Yufei, and the other Sacred Lords of Black Screen Corner to retreat. Sacred King Dark Screen and Kuan Yun were extremely fast. They were even faster than the severely injured Zhao Feng. As long as they ran a certain distance away, it wouldn't be easy for demigod ferocity to find them in the god corpse. That old Undying will have a good time now. Kuan Yun had a smug smile as he looked at Zhao Feng with a solemn expression. The reason why they were able to severely injure demigod ferocity and escape was all because of Zhao Feng's hidden cards and plans. As expected of the attack of a demigod, Zhao Feng realized that his injuries were recovering extremely slowly even when he used the wood of wind lightning. Whoosh! A bottle of multicolored honey appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. Whoosh! Whoosh! Zhao Feng immediately drank the bottle of 100 Origin sacred honey. A holy energy that could nourish all things instantly began to spread through Zhao Feng's body, spreading to every inch of his body and finally seeping into his soul. Wang, Zhao Feng circulated the wood of wind lightning, and the recovery speed of his injuries instantly sped up. Zhao Feng opened his eyes and realized that everyone was looking at Zhao Feng in shock. Senior Zhao, was that 100 Origin sacred honey just now? A sacred lord from Black Screen Corner swallowed his saliva. One had to know that the 100 Origin sacred honey was a treasure that could increase one's chances of breaking through to the mystic light sacred realm. Apart from that, the 100 Origin sacred honey could also increase the power of a sacred lord's state of existence, soul, and mystic light sacred power. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng was using such a precious treasure to recover. Senior Zhao's performance just now is admirable. Another sacred lord from Black Screen Corner said. They originally hated Zhao Feng for dragging them down with him. However, now that Zhao Feng had managed to escape and severely injure a non-human demigod, their attitude toward Zhao Feng instantly changed. Within a certain cave in the god corpse, Zhao Feng and Sacred King Dark Screen's group stopped for a while. After going through a big battle, almost everyone was exhausted. Within the misty spatial world, Zhao Feng circulated the soul recovery divine technique and the wood of wind lightning to recover from the injuries on his body and soul. A yellow fruit surrounded by crystal walls then appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. This was the fruit that the little thieving cat had helped Zhao Feng obtain from within the crystal. Lend me your weapon, Zhao Feng said to the resting little thieving cat. The crystal walls on the fruit were very tough, so Zhao Feng wasn't able to destroy it. However, in reality, Zhao Feng wanted to see the short black blade that the little thieving cat had obtained. Meow meow. The little thieving cat was very smart and obviously understood what Zhao Feng wanted, but it still generously gave the short black blade to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng carefully inspected this ordinary-looking blade that didn't have any aura. Wang, Zhao Feng poured his mystic light, sacred power into it, but there was no reaction from the short black blade. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped onto Zhao Feng's shoulder and started to gesture around. I can't use a divine weapon. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically. If it wasn't for the fact that he had seen the little thieving cat easily cut through the extremely tough crystal walls, Zhao Feng wouldn't have believed the little thieving cat's words. The highest level of divine weapon that Zhao Feng had ever seen was the tattered ancient god weapon that appeared in the ancient god's mysterious palace. However, the black and ordinary-looking short blade in Zhao Feng's hand was a legendary divine weapon. One had to know that there hadn't been a single true divine weapon in the entire continent zone. Ding! Ding! Zhao Feng picked up the short black blade and scraped the surface of the yellow fruit a few times. A layer of crystal instantly fell off. I didn't even use this divine weapon. It's just using its own power to have such an effect. Zhao Feng was once again sure that this short black blade was a divine weapon. I'll leave it to you. Scrape off all the crystals on the surface of the fruit. Zhao Feng rolled his eyes at the little thieving cat and threw the fruit and short black blade to the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng was originally very happy that the little thieving cat had helped him obtain a vine fruit, but only now did he realize that the little thieving cat had obtained a divine weapon for itself. No matter how valuable Zhao Feng's fruit was, it couldn't compare to a legendary divine weapon. Meow meow. The little thieving cat gave a fawning smile as it walked toward Zhao Feng, trying to suck up to Zhao Feng, who, the little thieving cat, put its hand into its mouth and took out 2 vine fruits. Zhao Feng's expression changed. He immediately picked up the 2 fruits and found that they were indeed from the vine. Zhao Feng stared at the little thieving cat's stomach. He really wanted to dissect the little thieving cat and see if there were any treasures inside. Meow meow. The little thieving cat seemed to see through Zhao Feng's thoughts and immediately explained that these were the 2 fruits it had casually obtained when it escaped. There were only 2. Chapter 1096. Right now, Zhao Feng had 3 fruits. They were yellow, blue, and gold. The intent within these fruits was extremely attractive to demigods, let alone Zhao Feng, who was only at the early stages of the mystic light realm. Furthermore, there was a surge of pure divine power within these fruits that surpassed the divine power that a demigod could control. From the intense fight between demigod withered breath and demigod arcane void, one could see how precious these fruits were. It was because of this that Zhao Feng probably wouldn't be able to absorb these fruits right now. Thinking back, normal sacred lords would lose their consciousness if they were careless when they sensed the intent near the vines. If Zhao Feng ate a fruit, it would be the same as committing suicide. In the end, Zhao Feng gave the 3 fruits to the little thieving cat and had it dig a small hole in each fruit's crystal surface. Shua! A blood-colored crystal pearl appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. It was the blood god crystal. If it wasn't for the divine power within this blood god crystal, Zhao Feng wouldn't have been able to block demigod ferocity's attack at all. However, in reality, Zhao Feng still had a god crystal in his little world of illusions. However, Zhao Feng couldn't even block demigod ferocity's attack with a golden pawn shield using the unique bloodline power within the blood god crystal, let alone the divine power within normal god crystals. Although god crystals were the crystallization of a true god's power, they contained a large amount of heaven-earth yuan qi and weren't pure divine power. Furthermore, Zhao Feng was only able to use the divine power within. He wasn't able to condense divine power or unleash the true power of divine power. The reason Nen Gongsheng could use divine power was because of the evil god mental thought body's guidance and cooperation. On the other hand, Kuan Yin had demigod intent and the memories from his previous life. AI. Zhao Feng sighed. Zhao Feng was originally planning to absorb the divine power within the blood god crystal and use it for himself, but from the looks of it, it wasn't that easy to use divine power. Moreover, this blood god crystal contained more of the power of bloodline, and the value of the power of bloodline wasn't any less than the divine energy contained within it. Perhaps I can use the blood god crystal in this way. Zhao Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. Apparently, he had thought of a good idea. I can use the bloodline power in the blood god crystal to create a second clone. Zhao Feng said in surprise. The body of Zhao Feng's first avatar was made from the spirit flesh snow jade lotus root. Its realm was relatively low, so Zhao Wang spent a lot of time cultivating it. With Zhao Feng's current vision, the spiritual flesh snow jade lotus no longer had its original value. Zhao Feng had also used many precious resources from the God Corpse, so both of Zhao Feng's techniques had been completely consolidated and improved. On top of that, Zhao Feng had absorbed a large amount of intent from the crystal red vine, and the battle with demigod ferocity allowed Zhao Feng to completely comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Zhao Feng's soul intent and intent had also become much stronger. However, the fight with demigod ferocity was too short, and the situation was dangerous and urgent. Zhao Feng didn't dare to use the demigod intent to train himself. Therefore, Zhao Feng put the scene of everyone fighting demigod ferocity into his left eye. Whoosh! The last part of Zhao Feng's consciousness entered the dimension of his left eye. Apart from the demigod heads, there were also some precious resources that Zhao Feng was duplicating within the dimension of his left eye. The scene within the dimension of his god eye suddenly changed into the scene of Zhao Feng and company fighting demigod ferocity. The scene within the dimension of his god eye was extremely realistic, and this ability became stronger as Zhao Feng's eye intent became stronger. Even Zhao Feng, who had a clear mind and strong intent, felt that everything around him was extremely realistic. Zhao Feng felt as if he had returned to the moment when he fought with demigod ferocity. However, this time, Zhao Feng didn't feel any pressure or danger. He could carefully observe how demigod ferocity used his power and intent. A demigod's control of power is extremely precise, and he can use all the power of the outside world into his own offensive intent. Zhao Feng kept on replaying every clash he had with demigod ferocity and observed the power that demigod ferocity's every action was unleashed. This was equivalent to a demigod personally demonstrating to Zhao Feng how to control the power within his body, how to use his soul intent, and how to control the power of intent. Zhao Feng's techniques and knowledge increased rapidly. One day later, within the misty spatial world, the earth of wind lightning around Zhao Feng's body suddenly shook and released a bright flash of lightning that radiated an invisible gravitational field. The earth of wind lightning has reached the late stages of the 9th level of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. Zhao Feng's consciousness left the dimension of his god eye and returned to his body. My sacred lightning body has also completely consolidated at the early stages. I can break through to the late stages at any time. Zhao Feng felt the changes in his physical power. However, while Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, his main focus was on the dimension of his god eye and learning from demigod ferocity. Therefore, Zhao Feng's intent and combat techniques increased the most. With my current strength, I can fight against normal sacred kings, even without using the tribulation lightning eye flame. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face. What Zhao Feng had obtained from the god corpse was already very shocking. Although there were countless dangers along the way, if Zhao Feng had remained in seclusion in the Hall of Gods, he wouldn't have been able to increase his strength so much even with the duplication ability of his left eye. However, time was tight, and Zhao Feng still had a lot of success in his hands. He didn't have the time to comprehend them. Whoosh! Zhao Feng's figure appeared in the outside world. Not far away, Zhao Yufei was protected by the power of a little world. However, Zhao Feng could still clearly feel the pure and powerful mystic light, sacred power. The purple flame crystals around Zhao Yufei dissipated, and she was like a goddess of ice and jade that slowly appeared from fairyland. Brother Feng, Zhao Yufei had a joyful expression. You've broken through to the late stages of the mystic light realm. Zhao Feng could see Zhao Yufei's current cultivation with one glance. Zhao Yufei smiled and nodded her head. Zhao Feng took in a cold breath. The spiritual race bloodline that was ranked 19th among the 10,000 ancient races wasn't just for show. Even Zhao Feng couldn't catch up to such a terrifying cultivation speed. On the other side, Kuan Yun, who had just become a sacred king not long ago, was slowly familiarizing himself with the power in his body and grasping some powerful techniques and secret techniques. Nan Gongxing's strength had also completely consolidated at the late stages of the mystic light realm, and a wicked and terrifying power radiated from him that made others' hearts shake and not dare to approach him. Zhao Feng, It's all thanks to you that this old man's strength has improved yet again. Sacred King Darkscreen said with a smile. Sacred King Darkscreen benefited a lot from fighting a demigod expert, and it was of great help to him in breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. If it wasn't for Zhao Feng, Sacred King Darkscreen wouldn't have dared to fight a demigod head-on. Then let's get ready to go. If we're late, there might be nothing left. Zhao Feng said with a smile. Everyone then ended their seclusion and headed toward the head of the god corpse. The closer they got, the stronger the aura of divine power in the crystal walls became. On the way, they met more and more groups, including non-humans. However, if there wasn't an obvious difference in strength between the two sides, the two Lord dynasties wouldn't fight casually. After all, obtaining the fortune within the god corpse was the most important thing right now. The crystal passageway that everyone was walking through started to become wider and wider until it became a limitless passageway. All the other groups heading toward the head of the god corpse slowly gathered in this wide crystal passageway. We're here. A wicked light flashed through Nangongxing's eyes. Everyone slowed down as well. At the end of this limitless crystal passageway was an extremely wide crystal dimension filled with crystal ruins. The experts of both Lord dynasties were stationed in various places within the crystal ruins. Chapter 1097. In the vast crystal space, there was a cave on the cliff on the right. The expressions of Sacred King Feather Spirit, Sacred King Greenlight, and Sacred King Shihai shook as they looked at the people that appeared at the entrance of the passageway in disbelief. Zhao Feng and Nan Gongseng, Zhao Yufei, and Kuan Yun. Sacred King Greenlight was filled with shock. How did they get here? Sacred King Feather Spirit was dazed as his mind shook. Zhao Feng and the others were clearly being chased by the demigods of the foreign races. How could they possibly appear here? What happened? At this moment, an old voice came from the depths of the cave. Elder Taiji, I discovered that Zhao Feng and the others were being hunted down by an alien half-deity. Now that I see Zhao Feng here, I'm rather surprised. Sacred King Feather Spirit immediately replied. Demigod Tai Chi had some history with Sacred King Feather Spirit's ancestor. If Demigod Tai Chi hadn't helped Sacred King Feather Spirit many times, Sacred King Feather Spirit wouldn't have reached his current position. However, Sacred King Feather Spirit didn't dare to mention his conflict with Zhao Feng. Those things weren't even worth mentioning in the eyes of a demigod. However, after Sacred King Feather Spirit said this, the expressions of all the members of the Grand Imperial Hall shook as they spread out their divine senses. It's Sacred King Darkscreen and Kuan Yun. The voice of a Saint King of the Supreme Imperial Hall sounded. The rest of the people from the Grand Imperial Hall immediately understood that the reason Zhao Feng and the others could escape from the demigods was definitely because of the help of Black Screen Corner and Kuan Yun. At this moment, Kuan Yun and Sacred King Darkscreen's auras had become much stronger, so the members of the Grand Imperial Hall believed that this was the reason. In the wide tunnel, Zhao Feng naturally discovered the location of the Supreme Imperial Hall. The Grand Imperial Hall probably won't attack me. Zhao Feng sensed something strange. Zhao Feng's actions didn't affect the demigods of the Grand Imperial Hall, which was why Zhao Feng dared to do those things. On the Great Qian Dynasty's side, as the supreme ruler of the Great Qian Dynasty, the Grand Imperial Hall's every action attracted the attention of all the nearby human forces and teams. In the cave near the cliff, streaks of spiritual senses swept out from the ruins on the ground. Of course, most people's attention was focused on the members of Black Screen Corner and Kuan Yun. Black Screen Corner was a neutral force, and many forces and teams in the Great Qian Dynasty wanted to rope them in. The fact that Kuan Yun was a reborn demigod had spread throughout the two dynasties. Naturally, Kuan Yun was someone that many forces wanted to rope in. Demigod Dark Ocean and Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss from Nine Darkness Palace looked at Zhao Feng. Impossible. Sacred King Earth Ghost exclaimed from the Earth Demon Cults group. Demigod Dark Ocean's eyes flashed as he prepared to speak. Boom! A terrifying willpower that could intimidate the heavens, and the earth emanated from the extremely wide crystal passageway. The teams from the two dynasties nearby all stood where they were, unable to move at all. They looked at the godlike figure floating in the air in fear. Demigod ferocity? A faint smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Old undying bastard, you're still behind us? Kuan Yin laughed. Sacred King Darkscreen shook his head and led the members of Black Screen Corner into the wide dimension in front of them. Go to hell. Demigod Ferocity was extremely enraged. His long hair blew in the air as he turned into a streak of dark yellow light that charged toward Zhao Feng and company. Zhao Feng, Nan Gongsheng, and company immediately entered the dimension in front of them and flew to the right. Demigod Ferocity chased after them and instantly arrived in front of Zhao Feng and company as he prepared to attack. Fuck off! An enraged roar sounded from the cave where the Grand Imperial Hall was located. The entire dimension instantly became silent, and an invisible pressure made the hearts of normal sacred lords tense up. They didn't dare to breathe. At the same time, the voice turned into a heavy intent that charged toward Demigod Ferocity. Who? The roar entered Demigod Ferocity's soul and pushed back his magnificent power intent. At the same time, surges of powerful auras appeared on the right side of the dimension in front of them. Demigod Ferocity's heart shook, and he finally stopped circulating his power. Come back. On the left side, in a cave above the crystal cliff, a cold voice that could make one's mind go into a trance came out. Demigod Ferocity immediately flew toward the left side. That was the territory of the Dark Moon Lord Dynasty. Zhao Feng and company were fine, so they smiled and continued forward. Since they dared to act so casually, they obviously believed that Demigod Ferocity wouldn't be able to kill them here. The forces of the two Lord Dynasties each occupied one side of the dimension in front of them. If Demigod Ferocity charged into the territory of the Great Gone Lord Dynasty and killed Zhao Feng and company, the Grand Imperial Hall would lose all face. How would they unify the Lord Dynasty? However, at this moment, Zhao Feng and Sacred King Darkscreen's group became the focus of all the forces of the two Lord Dynasties. What happened between them and Demigod Ferocity? Why does a non-human demigod hate them so much? An elder of a powerful 3-star power from the human side revealed a puzzled expression. Zhao Feng and company found a random corner and stopped. Sacred King Darkscreen's group stayed away from Zhao Feng's group and headed toward the inner part of the dimension. The two sides had discussed this on the way to the head of the God Corps. Zhao Feng said that he wouldn't team up with other forces, so Sacred King Darkscreen's partnership with Zhao Feng and company had ended a long time ago. Zhao Feng, Sacred King Darkscreen, and Kuan Yin gathered together and set up a barrier around them. Before anyone could say anything, an unwelcome guest appeared outside the barrier. Zhao Feng, the Grand Elder of Nine Darkness Palace, invites you over for a chat. Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss had a complicated expression as he looked at Zhao Feng. Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss, who had once attacked the Hall of Gods, thought that he would be able to take revenge the next time he met Zhao Feng after he recovered from his injuries. However, the current Zhao Feng made him feel fear. Nine Darkness Palace. Zhao Feng's heart dropped. He didn't expect the Grand Elder of Nine Darkness Palace to be so direct and prepare to attack as soon as they saw him. As long as he entered the territory of Nine Darkness Palace, Demigod Dark Ocean will be able to find an excuse to kill Zhao Feng. It was almost impossible for a non-human demigod to kill a human here, but it was extremely simple for a human demigod to kill a human sacred lord here. Right as Zhao Feng was thinking of a solution, an old and bright voice sounded from a cave on the cliff. The Grand Elder of the Tai family wants to meet with little friend Zhao Feng. Inside the cave, a white-robed old man with red hair revealed a kind smile. The Tai family. Zhao Feng's expression froze as he looked toward the source of the voice. The Tai family had sent Tai Hongling last time in an attempt to bring them together, but Zhao Feng ignored her and left by himself. Zhao Feng originally thought that the Tai family would be angry because of this, or at the very least, they wouldn't have a good attitude anymore. However, Zhao Feng was surprised that the Tai family would lend a helping hand at this critical moment. The person who said this was Tai Hongling's grandfather, Sacred King Scarlet's son, the grand elder of the Tai family. Demigod Dark Ocean's expression became grim. "Come back." Demigod Dark Ocean messaged Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss. Since the Tai family had spoken, he wouldn't be a match for Zhao Feng even if he invited Zhao Feng over. Although Nine Darkness Palace and the Tai family were both peak 3-star powers, the Tai family had a better relationship with the Grand Imperial Hall. "Little friend Zhao, let's go to the Tai family first." Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss smiled and pretended to be polite. Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss left after saying that. On the other hand, the forces and experts of both Lord dynasties started to pay attention to Zhao Feng. A normal Sacred Lord was able to attract the killing intent of a non-human demigod and then cause 2 peak forces of the Great Gon Lord dynasty to fight over him. Who was this person? Of course, almost everyone from the Great Gon Lord dynasty knew who Zhao Feng was and knew the relationship between Zhao Feng, Nine Darkness Palace, and the Tai family. Zhao Feng immediately left the barrier and flew toward the territory of the Tai family. Although Zhao Feng didn't like the Tai family, the demigod of the Tai family was definitely here, and the Tai family had helped Zhao Feng this time, so Zhao Feng obviously had to give them face. Wang, an opening appeared in the barrier at the entrance of the Tai family's cave, and Zhao Feng entered it. The Sacred Lords and Sacred Kings of the Tai family inspected Zhao Feng with fiery eyes within the cave. "Thank you, Senior Scarlet's son, for helping me." Zhao Feng put his hands together and thanked him. "Little friend Zhao Feng, don't be so polite. Come in." Tai Hongling's grandfather, Sacred King Scarlet's son, invited Zhao Feng in. In the middle of the cave sat an old man whose entire body flickered with an illusory red light. The area around him had become a forbidden zone. Demigod Scarlet Blood of the Tai family. Zhao Feng's heart shook. However, at this moment, the demigod of the Tai family had his eyes closed, as if he didn't care about the outside world. "Little friend Zhao Feng, I didn't think that you already had a new lover." Sacred King Scarlet's son laughed. Zhao Feng was slightly awkward. He obviously knew that Sacred King Scarlet's son was talking about Zhao Yufei. "I originally wanted to bring my daughter and little friend Zhao together, but it looks like my daughter isn't lucky enough." Sacred King Scarlet's son continued. Compared to Zhao Yufei, the number 1 female of the Tai family, Tai Hongling, was indeed much weaker. "No, Lady Hongling is very charming." Zhao Feng also exchanged some pleasantries with Sacred King Scarlet Sunday. Sacred King Scarlet's son gave Zhao Feng a good impression. Although he was a sacred king, he didn't have any arrogance. He was kind and easy to get along with. Sacred King Scarlet's son then finally got to the point. "Little friend Zhao, can't you help me and let the perfect Blood Devil Son bloodline return to the Tai family?" Sacred King Scarlet's son sighed. Zhao Feng's expression became grim. He had thought about this problem many times. Once he joined the Tai family, he would be protected by the Tai family, and Nine Darkness Palace wouldn't cause trouble for him. However, in the end, Zhao Feng still refused to join the Tai family. Nine Darkness Palace wouldn't cause trouble for Zhao Feng, but Zhao Feng really wanted to cause trouble for Nine Darkness Palace. Zhao Feng thought of a solution after thinking about it for a long time. However, there were many uncontrollable factors. "I'm willing to help Senior Scarlet's son," Zhao Feng said calmly. "Who?" The expressions of all the experts in the cave changed. An invisible, scorching aura filled the cave. Even the eyebrows of demigod Scarlet Blood, who was sitting cross-legged in the center of the cave, twitched. "Little friend Zhao is willing to join?" Sacred King Scarlet's son was slightly excited. He didn't expect Zhao Feng to agree so decisively, but Zhao Feng didn't seem like he was joking. "I do have some special methods. If Senior doesn't mind, you can send a few disciples to the Hall of Gods. I will do my best to help them awaken the perfect Blood Devil Son bloodline, but I can't guarantee the final result. Zhao Feng interrupted Sacred King Scarlet Sun and told him the method he had thought of a long time ago. Chapter 1098. I do have some special methods. If you don't mind, you can send a few disciples to the Hall of Gods. I will do my best to help them awaken the true perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline. I can't guarantee the final result. Zhao Feng spoke of the method he had thought of a long time ago. Special method? The members of the Tai family murmured. The perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline in Zhao Feng's body had long surpassed the perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline that appeared in the Tai family. Due to this, the upper echelons of the Tai family guessed that Zhao Feng had a way to continuously improve his bloodline. Now that Zhao Feng had said it himself, they were even more convinced of their previous guesses. At the same time, some elders of the Tai family became greedy. If they could obtain this method, the Tai family would be able to raise a large number of perfect Blood Devil Sun meridians. The upper echelons of the Tai family communicated with each other via voice transmission. Regarding Zhao Feng's plan, they generally held two attitudes. First, if he agreed to Zhao Feng's request, he would be able to maintain a good relationship with the Hall of Gods. All the forces in the Great Gan dynasty had witnessed the Hall of Gods' recent growth. It wouldn't be long before the Hall of Gods became one of the strongest forces in the dynasty. The second was to capture and kill Zhao Feng and obtain the special method that Zhao Feng had mentioned. As long as the Tai family's demigod Qi Shui took action, killing Zhao Feng would be a piece of cake. Once the Tai family could cultivate a perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline, it wouldn't take long for the Tai family to become the strongest 3-star force on the continent. They might even become a 4-star force. However, at this moment, Sacred King Scarlet Sun spoke. If that's the case, then I'll have to trouble little friend Zhao. Sacred King Scarlet Sun smiled. At first, he only wanted Zhao Feng to marry a woman from the Tai family and have a few children. That way, there was a high chance that the children would have the perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline. But now, Zhao Feng admitted that he had a special way to help the Tai family disciples awaken the perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline. Compared to the previous plan of the Tai family's higher-ups, Zhao Feng's plan was undoubtedly more beneficial to the Tai family. However, this benefit could still be expanded, and that was to obtain this special method from Zhao Feng. However, Sacred King Scarlet Sun gave up on the idea in the end. Firstly, he didn't believe that there was any way to awaken such a powerful bloodline without limit. Second, Zhao Feng's growth had truly shocked him. When the two of them first met, Zhao Feng had only been at the Heavenly Emperor realm, but now he was already a small success Holy Lord. With Zhao Feng's talent and potential, it was not impossible for him to break through to the God realm. Third, the fact that Zhao Feng dared to say that he had a special method surprised Scarlet Sun Saint King. Where did Zhao Feng get the confidence that the Tai family wouldn't do anything to him? Fourth, this was also what demigod Scarlet Blood was thinking. After hearing Sacred King Scarlet Sun's words, the other experts of the Tai family could only give up on the idea of killing Zhao Feng. This was because Sacred King Scarlet Sun must have discussed this with the Tai family supreme elder, demigod Qi Shui. However, this matter can only be completed after I return to the Hall of Gods. Zhao Feng revealed a sly smile. The meaning behind Zhao Feng's words was extremely obvious. He wanted the Tai family to protect him unconditionally. If something happened to him, then the plan just then wouldn't be able to be carried out. Of course, Sacred King Scarlet Sun understood what Zhao Feng meant. With the protection of the Tai family, Nine Darkness Palace wouldn't dare to do anything to Zhao Feng. Furthermore, Zhao Feng was with Kuan Yun, and he had a substandard god weapon like the Misty spatial world. As long as he didn't purposefully put himself in danger, there shouldn't be any problems. Then this junior will be leaving first. Zhao Feng bowed faintly and left the cave. At this moment, demigod Qi Shui's voice sounded. After the trip to the god corpse, I will try to break through to the heavenly divine realm. I might succeed, or I might fail, so the Tai family shouldn't become enemies with other forces during this period of time. The upper echelon of the Tai family fell silent. If one succeeded in breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, they would enter the ancient desolate realm of gods. If they failed, they would die. This meant that the Tai family wouldn't have a demigod anymore, and the Hall of Gods was a force with a lot of potential. The Tai family would try their best to form a good relationship with them and not offend them. Zhao Feng left the Tai family's territory safely within the wide dimension. In a certain corner, Zhao Yufei's expression turned to one of joy. "Brother Feng, the Tai family didn't do anything to you, right?" Zhao Yufei asked in a concerned tone. "They won't do anything to me," Zhao Feng said confidently. Now that Zhao Feng had the protection of the Tai family, he didn't need to worry too much about the demigods of Nine Darkness Palace. This meant that he could use the last god, slaying arrow, to deal with other dangers. Zhao Feng then turned his eyes to the front of the vast crystal wall. At the end was a giant golden-white screen of light. This screen was formed from extremely pure high-level divine power, and its terrifying aura made no one from either Lord Dynasty dare to get too close. Furthermore, even the divine sense of a demigod wouldn't be able to pass through the golden white screen of light. However, Zhao Feng felt that the power within the screen was gradually weakening. The people from both Lord Dynasties probably realized this as well, which was why they were stationed here. As long as the divine power of the golden white screen of light completely disappeared, everyone would be able to enter. This should be the most important place. I wonder what's behind the golden white screen of light? Zhao Feng was unable to calm down. There was no doubt that the fortune within the God Corpse was the biggest treasure that had ever appeared in the continent zone. Otherwise, the little thieving cat wouldn't have been able to obtain a true divine weapon. However, most people in the Lord Dynasty didn't have the little thieving cat's ability. They were unable to dig out the treasures in the God Corpse that were enough to make demigods go crazy. Even Zhao Feng only managed to obtain 3 fruits with the little thieving cat's help. 1. Zhao Feng couldn't help but circulate the power of his left eye, and a faint golden ripple spread across his golden eye. Let's give it a try. Zhao Feng's vision passed through the golden white screen of light with difficulty. At the same time, Zhao Feng's eye intent was quickly expended. Zhao Feng's vision instantly became pitch black, as if day had suddenly turned into night. The difference made Zhao Feng's heart skip a beat. Is this what's behind the screen of light? Zhao Feng's heart tightened. Heaven and earth were pitch black. However, there was something extremely eye-catching in this pitch-black dimension that instantly attracted Zhao Feng's gaze. It was a platinum-colored path of light that was laid flat in the pitch-black world. It extended to an extremely far place and finally led to a huge, resplendent ball of light. The ball of light slowly rotated and released a dazzling halo that made one unable to shift their gaze away. The true fortune should be in that ball of light, but it seems like there's only one path. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. The golden white path was very narrow and could only allow 4 people to pass through at the same time. However, all the peak experts of both Lord Dynasties were gathered here. How could a path that could only allow 4 people to pass through at the same time be enough? Wouldn't that force both Lord Dynasties to take action? If that was the case, the weakest Sacred Lords would be the ones to suffer, and they might not even be able to approach the ball of light. However, this was just Zhao Feng's guess. No one knew what would happen when the time came. There's still some time until the last treasure opens. Let's work hard and increase our strength. Zhao Feng said to Nan Gongsheng and Zhao Yufei. However, if it really was as Zhao Feng guessed, and the 2 Lord Dynasties fought for the same path, Zhao Feng would leave immediately and search for fortune elsewhere in the God Corpse. Right at this moment, Zhao Feng felt the divine senses of many forces in both Lord Dynasties scan over with complicated, shocked, and wary expressions. Sacred King Samsara. It's the eyes of Samsara from one of the 8 great god eyes. Zhao Feng couldn't help but look toward the entrance of the passageway. The inheritor of the eyes of Samsara. Zhao Feng's expression turned to surprise. He didn't expect the owner of the Eyes of Samsara to also come here. However, Zhao Feng didn't see Lu Qinin's figure. It made sense. With Lu Qinin's cultivation, she would still be in danger, even with the protection of her master. Sacred King Samsara stood alone in the passageway, but the groups passing by all revealed wary expressions. No one dared to doubt his true strength. At the same time, Zhao Feng felt many angry and dissatisfied voices from both lore dynasties. However, Zhao Feng understood after thinking about it. The Eyes of Samsara could control the dead and make them fall into the samsara of death, never to be reborn. Those that were turned into samsara immortal bodies by Sacred King Samsara were obviously not normal people. They were definitely the top experts of both lore dynasties, so Sacred King Samsara had unknowingly offended many forces. However, Sacred King Samsara's ability to use the samsara of life had also helped many super forces and experts. Adding on the fact that he was extremely low-key and had immeasurable battle power, Sacred King Samsara was able to survive in the continent zone safely even though he had offended so many forces. Sacred King Samsara slowly entered the wide dimension of crystal by himself. Little friend Zhao Feng, we meet again. Sacred King Samsara slowly walked toward where Zhao Feng was. The forces and experts of both lore dynasties were stunned once more. Who is this brat? Why is everything related to him? I didn't expect Zhao Feng to know Sacred King Samsara. It looks like I underestimated him. Sacred King Scarlet Sun had a grim expression. Sacred King Samsara also had the soul of the Tai family. This brat is indeed not simple. Demigod Dark Ocean from Nine Darkness Palace had a grim expression. Everything in front of me will be destroyed. Golden light flashed through the non-human demigod destruction's eyes as battle intent appeared. The expressions of Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongsheng next to Zhao Feng changed slightly. The normal gray-robed elder made them feel an irresistible power, and they didn't want to interact with him. Wariness appeared in Kuan Yun's eyes as well. That's right, I didn't think that senior would come to such a lively place. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. Zhao Feng immediately removed the barrier and let Sacred King Samsara in. I don't like lively places, but I like places with many experts. Sacred King Samsara had a friendly expression as his eyes scanned around. The expressions of the sacred lords and sacred kings within both lord dynasties changed dramatically, and they became cautious. Little friend, Zhao Feng's improvement is godly. It's only been a few years, and you've improved so much. Sacred King Samsara sat down cross-legged, as if he was going to stay here forever. Chapter 1099. Little friend, Zhao Feng's improvement is godly. You've improved so much in just a few years. Sacred King Samsara sat down cross-legged, as if he was going to stay here. However, from Zhao Feng's point of view, Sacred King Samsara was just going to sit here. With Sacred King Samsara's strength, he shouldn't be here to team up with Zhao Feng. Senior, you made it here alone. This kind of strength is truly amazing. Zhao Feng barely managed to exchange a few words with Sacred King Samsara. Sacred King Samsara had helped Zhao Feng many times before. Logically speaking, Zhao Feng should be very friendly towards such an expert. However, for some reason, Zhao Feng felt that he didn't like Sacred King Samsara. Could it be because of the Emperor of Death? Zhao Feng started to think. Perhaps it was because of the Emperor of Death, but Zhao Feng still didn't like Sacred King Samsara. Zhao Feng then chatted with Sacred King Samsara for a bit before they both started to cultivate. Zhao Feng split into many thoughts as he circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique. The first thought was used to cultivate the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. The earth of wind lightning had reached the late stages, and he needed to spend some effort to consolidate it. Only then would he be able to progress smoothly. The second thought was used to absorb the crystal blood resources from the god corpse and cultivate the golden Kuan sacred lightning body. Zhao Feng had already reached the early stages of this body-strengthening technique and could break through to the late stages at any time. In order to be able to deal with the upcoming situation, Zhao Feng would obviously raise the 6th level of the sacred lightning body to the late stages. Zhao Feng had all the resources that these two techniques needed. Whether it was from the ancient dream realm or the god corpse, Zhao Feng could even duplicate what he needed with his left eye. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng didn't dare to use his Yuan Qi and I intent to duplicate things. He needed to ensure that he was in his best condition. The rest of Zhao Feng's thoughts entered the dimension of his left eye. The third thought was used to absorb the power of the thunder tribulation in the deity's tribulation head. The higher the tribulation lightning in the lightning soul body, the harder it would be to increase it. Therefore, Zhao Feng started to strengthen every single lightning tribulation mark in his thunder soul constitution, so that the original lightning tribulation mark could store more lightning tribulation power and display greater power. As the power of the tribulation lightning increased, the power of the tribulation lightning eye flame would naturally increase as well. As for the fourth thought, Zhao Feng used it to comprehend the battle with demigod ferocity. In the ancient dream realm, the scene around him changed again. It was as if Zhao Feng had really returned to the past. Zhao Feng focused all of his attention and started to replay the images in the dimension of his left eye. The more he understood, the more Zhao Feng realized that there were more techniques to be unearthed. There was no end to learning. Of course, Zhao Feng also had a lot of small thoughts doing other things, such as comprehending eye bloodline techniques, analyzing the third level of the soul splitting technique, and observing the situation in the outside world. In the entire crystal space, almost all the experts were in a half-cultivation state. At this final moment, they were trying to improve their strength in order to obtain greater benefits. The golden white screen of divine power at the end of the dimension became dimmer and dimmer. The power of the entire god corpse is weakening. Even the powerful divine power in this screen is disappearing. Where did all that power go? Maybe it needs energy to maintain the inheritance in the head. The divine power in the screen has weakened even more. If this continues, we'll be able to enter in just a few days. The powerhouses who were in a semi-cultivation state were constantly observing the situation in the outside world. 2 days later, a part of Zhao Feng's consciousness left the dimension of his left eye. Within the misty spatial world, 3 fruits covered in divine power appeared in front of Zhao Feng. The little thieving cat had dug out a small hole in each of the walls. The 3 fruits floated around Zhao Feng, and a desolate and ancient intent spread out from the small hole. They're the intents of earth, lightning, and metal. Although Zhao Feng hadn't cultivated the 5 elemental wind lightning technique to the metal of wind lightning yet, that didn't mean that Zhao Feng couldn't comprehend the intent of metal. If Zhao Feng's understanding of the intent of metal reached a certain level, then cultivating the metal of wind lightning would be much smoother. The 3 intents were like a giant mountain that locked down Zhao Feng's soul, and the power of the intents invaded his soul. Zhao Feng's consciousness seemed to have arrived in a desolate world made up of the elements of earth, lightning, and metal. The ground was covered in a thick layer of dark yellow dust. The air was filled with countless rays of golden light, and the sky was filled with lightning. In order to increase his comprehension of the intents, Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye. Zhao Feng's mind instantly became extremely clear, and his reaction speed and ability to think quickly increased. The rate at which he comprehended the 3 intents kept on increasing. However, as more and more intents invaded Zhao Feng's soul, even if Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye, he was unable to stay awake. This is the limit. Zhao Feng suddenly opened his eyes, moved the 3 fruits to the side, and sealed them away. My soul intent is far stronger than a sacred lord's. If I use these fruits to comprehend for a few more days, my soul intent will be able to reach the level of a sacred king. Zhao Feng revealed a joyful expression. The increase in his soul intent wasn't just because of the fortuitous encounters and the intents within the fruits. It was also because of Zhao Feng's mastery of the soul. The power within the divine power screen has weakened by more than 60% compared to before. Zhao Feng inspected the golden white screen of divine power with his left eye and immediately calculated. Zhao Feng then looked at the others. Nan Gongsheng had obtained a black fruit, and at this moment his soul intent was slowly catching up to his own cultivation. The aura radiating from his body was even more wicked and wicked. On the other side, Zhao Yufei was able to absorb the yuan qi and divine aura of heaven and earth just by sitting there. The aura radiating from her body was also becoming stronger and stronger. The rate at which the divine power in the golden white screen is flowing away is becoming faster. Kuan Yin suddenly said. Zhao Feng looked at Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin had probably stolen something incredible from demigod ferocity, or else demigod ferocity wouldn't have chased after Kuan Yin so relentlessly. At this moment, Zhao Feng realized that Kuan Yin's body contained a strong surge of unique lightning. This was the first time Zhao Feng had felt something like this before. Zhao Feng then turned his gaze toward the golden white screen. It has indeed sped up again. Zhao Feng's tone was certain, and he was filled with anticipation and excitement. More and more experts couldn't help but stop cultivating. We'll be able to go in and see what's going on soon. There must be a peerless treasure sealed inside. There might even be a legendary divine weapon. There might even be a secret technique to become a high-tier god. At this moment, almost all the experts had stopped cultivating and stared at the golden white screen. The demigods could clearly feel how much divine power was left in the screen. At a certain moment, the screen became extremely dim, and what appeared in front of everyone was a dark and twisted screen of water. Hu, demigod Dragon Emperor, and the other experts of the Grand Imperial Hall flew out from the crystal cave on the right side of the cliff. On the other side, demigod Dark Dragon from the Dark Capital Cult flew out and stared at demigod Dragon Emperor with a wicked smile. The demigods of both Lord dynasties moved out at the same time, and their terrifying aura made the sacred lords and sacred kings behind them freeze in place and not dare to move. Little friend Zhao Feng, be careful, Sacred King Samsura said with a smile before flying off into the distance. Senior as well, Zhao Feng said politely. When all the demigods entered the dark ripples, the other sacred lords and sacred kings also started to move. Zhao Feng and company weren't very far in front, but they weren't too far behind either. Everyone, be careful, Zhao Feng warned before entering the gloomy and distorted barrier of light. The scene in front of them started to spin before slowly returning to normal. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically as he looked at everything in front of him. Zhao Feng was currently standing on a path of light formed from divine power, and the pitch-black space around him was filled with many similar paths of light. At a certain moment, Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss figure appeared not far away from Zhao Feng. A path of light formed under his feet and extended to the bright ball of light in the center. Zhao Feng, anger and unwillingness ignited in Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss when he saw Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng had a stunned expression and completely ignored Sacred Lord Demonic Abyss. How is this possible? Everyone has a path. Zhao Feng was still in shock. Before entering this place, Zhao Feng's gaze had pierced through this world. At that time, Zhao Feng saw a path of light. This meant that someone had already entered before the experts of both Lord dynasties had arrived, and there was no one in the path of light. There was no one on the path of light, so Zhao Feng didn't know if the person who came here had entered the ball of light or if they had died. How is this possible? The golden white screen of light outside is made of powerful divine power. Even normal true gods wouldn't be able to pass through it. Zhao Feng guessed, but he wasn't able to calm down for a long time. Let's not worry about this for now. Zhao Feng got rid of his suspicions. Since everyone had their own path, Zhao Feng didn't need to worry about enemies stopping him or chasing him. He also didn't need to worry about what would happen to Zhao Yufei or Nan Gongsheng. How come there's no one on this path of divine power? Zhao Yufei revealed a surprised expression as she inspected the path of light below her. Inside the crystal wall, almost all the experts had entered the dark and distorted light screen. Suddenly, a black-armored man covered in pitch-black dragon scales rushed out of the huge passage. "Are you sure there's no problem entering?" The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon asked. After all, it had personally seen all the experts of both Lord dynasties enter, so the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon was slightly worried. "There's no problem," a female in white said faintly from within the origin dimension of destruction within the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's body. In front of her, there were many colorful light screens, and different scenes were playing out on them. "Good." Excitement and cruelty flashed through the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's eyes as it charged into the dark screen of light. The next instant, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon appeared in the world of darkness where the experts of both Lord dynasties were gathered, and a path of light extended under its feet. Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, the expression of a non-human sacred lord next to the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, changed dramatically. "Oomph, you actually came as well?" A non-human demigod, even further away, snickered coldly. "I didn't expect the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon to be hiding in the dark this entire time." Demigod Withered Breath from Sky Suspension Palace had a grim expression. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon was only a sacred king, but it was able to hide from the demigods of both Lord dynasties. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.